What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka ToeTagginTambo, back for another of my favorite show, the edition of Off the Chalk. We got Sunday, early morning, grab your coffee, week 10. Got my boys. I'll kick it to them in a minute. AP, JT Hayes. Excited to be here as always. I'm pumped for this week. Got a great slate ahead. We're going to go through it with you guys, talk about everything. As everybody files in, again, be sure to hit that like button. We talk about it every single week. The currency is free. You just press it. Takes 2 seconds. No issues there. We do appreciate it and helps us out a ton. Last Sunday, destroyed it. Had almost 300. I'd like to get there as well. Of course, Morning Wood coming up next. We've got Holden, Big T, Hoop. That's going to be after this, so stick around for that as well. But let's dive into it. AP, I'm going to kick it to you first. We're just crushing NBA over at RPS. Talk about that and then talk about the week, man.
Yeah, these Saturday slates and Sunday, we'll have it dialed in again today. They are a ton of fun. I think, I don't know. I mean, I think people kind of, maybe take the night off. I mean, we had Big Bobby Williams, low owned. We had Goran Dragic, pretty relatively low owned versus where he should have been. And it was all RPS logos up top. That's what you love to see. I had a good night. Members were ahead of me, and so that's always a good thing. I like to win, obviously, but I love it when the members win, and that's what happened. It's going to happen again today. I'm feeling very good about this NFL slate.
Yeah, I love it, man. Like you said, there's a lot of logos up top. We love to see that. You guys aren't in already, use promo code RPS Heater 25. That can get you signed up. I talk about it all the time on Off the Chalk. I said it's where we don't just talk the talk, but we walk the walk. These are the exact plays. You've got our final thoughts. We're coming into Sunday. This is who I'm going to be playing. But if you do sign up, get into the Discord, get all the extras. That's you can tag us, ask further questions. And the biggest thing, what it always comes down to, you hear it from everybody. I had all the plays. I was overweight on all the right guys. It just didn't come together. Well, that's what we've got over at RPS. We've got roster construction with the cores, with the tiers, with the player pools. It's pretty hard to make mistakes when you've got all that brought into one place. So JT Hayes, I'll bring you in next, my man. How you doing on this fine early Sunday morning?
Doing good. Now I'm used to this as a product of doing this show at 8:45. I open my eyes about 7 o'clock and I'm getting ready to go. And like AP said, big night last night in NBA, lots of 4 and 5 figure winners. So a lot of money to parlay into a big week 10 NFL slate. Lots of news, late news breaking yesterday. We'll get to all that. And a lot of chalk. Some of it I think is really terrible. Some of it I think we should eat. Just a really good slate.
Yeah. And because of that this week, I know 2021 is the year of lots of cancellations. I don't want to get canceled, so I'm not going to change the format of the show today. But I think what everybody in the chat and everybody here watching wants to know and start at is running back. Because if you're talking about chalk, this is going to be one of the biggest chalk positions we've had all season in any given week, where we've got just a ton at the running back to talk through. So not going to change the format. Don't worry, guys. We're going the same way as always. We're going to talk through every position, talk about who everybody is on as far as the quote unquote chalk is concerned and who you could play instead, ways to go about utilizing it. All that stuff that you guys love and we love to talk about. But I am going to switch up the order this week. And AP, I'm going to bring it to you. We've got a lot going on at running back here, right? We've got Dearness Johnson with literally everybody out from Cleveland. We've got Mark Ingram for the Saints with Kamara out. So I think we'll start with those two. Want to get your thoughts on them specifically. And then there's a lot of other guys behind them, like Connor's picking up some steam as the week goes on. You've got some of the guys at the top, Najee Harris, Jonathan Taylor, that just make sense, but they're more expensive. What are you doing here at the running back position this week? And then what do you think about the big two, we'll call it, as far as ownership are concerned at running back?
Yeah, I have a ton of interest in Dearness Johnson. Obviously, they got no one else. And, I think the Patriots are somewhat attackable on the ground. And I mean, are they really going to stack the box against Dearness Johnson? I mean, they could, but I still have I still think this Cleveland Browns line is solid. So, I think they're going to do a bulk of the work. And, man, we had a scenario like this. I think it was against Denver where he got all the work, 22, maybe 25, 26 total touches, and he just smashed. So he's definitely very high in my player pool. I'm eating that chalk. The thing about NFL guys, we can always get different. Chalk is chalk for a reason. There is some bad chalk, and our guy JT Hayes is, gonna help us to figure out what is the bad chalk. But I do like these cheap running backs. Ton of interest in Dearness Johnson. I am very high on Najee Harris. I was just running my builds. I'm with you this week, Tambo. Normally I'm like a 4 to 7 lineup type of guy, and I've been working on refining my process. I actually had a few conversations with BigT about it, and maxing the Millie this week and doing different things like that, playing around with the MME life. So I ran my first kind of few builds, and Najee Harris was landing right around 65%. So I'm showing a projection of right around 25%. So roughly 3.5 times that, which I like. I think there's other ways to get different as well. Guys like Dalvin Cook, guys like Jonathan Taylor. And my plan is to anchor Najee Harris plus one of these cheaper running backs in Mark Ingram and Dearness Johnson. And then I'm going to be very heavy 3 running back builds because I just love the running backs this week. And I'm going to rotate in guys like Jonathan Taylor. Dalvin Cook is one that's very high up on my list. So yeah, I'm definitely fine with eating this chalk unless you guys can talk me off of it. But I think they're solid plays this week.
Yeah, especially like the last comment you had about rotating in 3 running back builds. JSU's talked about in the past plenty. And when some weeks when you've got just sort of these given plays or ones that you want to call that when you're going into your builds, at least when your construction's set up, you sometimes can get away from it. And trust me, look, I like making lineups that use wide receiver in the flex. It makes you different naturally. You can put it into your stacks. You can stack down further. You can go 3 guys with 1 coming back. You can do more by going that way. But on a week, if you're already going to jam in these other 2 cheap guys, I don't hate starting to rotate through some of the expensive ones in Harris, Taylor, Cook, Aaron Jones, guys like that you mentioned that just aren't going to get as much ownership because most people are starting with the 2 cheap guys. JT Hayes, kicking it to you now. Talk to me about the same 2 guys and then other thoughts that you've got here at the running back position.
Yeah, so the thing we talked about, Tim, on Thursday was how is Bill Belichick going to defend this Cleveland offense? And there's a chance here where he says, you know what, I want to make Baker throw the ball because he'll make mistakes doing that. And if that's the case, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Dearness Johnson, but he is 4,700. And as AP mentioned, he is the only guy there. I'm tending to want to look to get a little bit different because I think both he and Ingram are going to be popular in that lower range. There was an injury yesterday in the same game with the Patriots with Damian Harris getting ruled out. We just saw last week this Cleveland team. I don't think anybody played Joe Mixon, and he went nuts for a big game against them. They've been giving up big games on the ground. You've got 2 guys that are risky because of the way that the Patriots play in Ramondre Stevenson, if he's active, which he's expected to be. And then Brandon Bolden is just 4-4, and he's been getting used in this offense. Now, I don't know that I'm going to go there, but that's off the chalk. The guy, and part of what I do late in the season is I like to look at matchups. I like to look at which teams are giving up the most fantasy points to different positions. And the top 3 this week, in terms of matchup for running back, the Buffalo Bills, the Steelers, and the Green Bay Packers. We know about Najee Harris. Aaron Jones is just 6'9". He does have A.J. Dillon there. But one guy that I think as the day goes on, I might be more interested in is Zach Moss at just 5,100 for the Bills. The Bills, of course, a great matchup. The Jets have almost nobody left on defense. And you might say, look, the Bills have so many weapons and the Browns do not right now, which would favor Dearness Johnson. But with the way that the Jets are giving up huge games to opposing running backs, just look at last Thursday with Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor getting there. No, Zach Moss is not the same caliber, but at 5,100, it just takes one big play and boom, he's at value and he's going to be less than 5% owned. So in terms of an off the chalk running back, that's someone that I have some interest in.
Yeah, I like it. You're already going off the chalk. I couldn't agree more with some of the things you said there. Just like you said, there's options that you can get to. The chats just kill me right now. They're loving the new setup. Do you guys like the new setup? I don't look. Last week, someone said, looks like I got robbed. I tried to fill it up a little bit in the back there. So if you like the new setup, hit the like button. We're going to get to that quick 100, 200 watching now. Just hit the like on the way in. We'll keep it rolling. We're trying to get to 300 today before the Morning Wood Show, an hour from now, or just under an hour after this. But let's keep it moving here. I'm going to give my thoughts real quick. Here's the thing. So when we talked Thursday, JT, I said sort of the same thing as you on Dearness Johnson. There is so many other options. What I struggled with as the week went on is two things. One, when I go to wide receiver, there's not a lot of wide receivers that are cheap this week that I like. And I know you can just start pairing them in with your quarterbacks, which we'll go to that position next and stack them in. But at the same time, they're not going to get any type of guaranteed volume like these other guys are going to get at the running back position. The second angle, and this is what I more so looked at and just kills me, but I don't love playing these chalk guys like this. But like AP said, there's ways to get different. We're going to give you plenty of options at other positions and strategies for using it within your roster construction. Is this, when you go to a projection site, any of them right now, you are going to get jammed 100% of these two cheap running backs, if not 90% plus, pretty much all the way in. But yet everyone I hear still talking about it is looking for ways to talk themselves off of at least one, if not two of these. You hear about, like you said, New England could stack the box and end that plan. You hear about the other side. Oh, Taysom Hill's going to hop in and steal all Ingram's thunder. Well, he could probably get a touchdown and Ingram can still get there. So there's where I have a little bit more trouble with it. I do think you have to take a stand. For me, I can't go all in on these guys. I just think there's too many other options, too many other ways to go about it. But I'm definitely going to be at least double the field on both of these cheap guys. And I'm going to do my quarterback builds, as I talk about all the time in Showdown, in sets. So if I got Brady builds and I've got 50% of Dearness Johnson Ingram, well, those will be 50% with Brady. When I got Dak builds, I'll have the same 50%. And that way I've got both types of lineup construction with all the quarterbacks that I'm utilizing for the slate. AP, kicking it back to you. Anybody else you want to talk about? JT mentioned some good off the chalk options here at running back. Is there other guys specific to your plan that you're going to utilize in MME this week? And by the way, I love that you're hitting up that Millie Maker this week. It's a lot of fun putting the 150 in.
Yeah, actually, it might be surprised. I've never done 150 in NFL. So I've done it in PGA. NBA started to dabble. I've always been a 4 to 8 lineup guy, hand build. I've always used the optimizer to kind of fine tune my builds, but just spent a little bit of time kind of reviewing, refining my process. And so, just I noticed something Big T was doing. Shout out to Big T, running one main lineup, putting it in, a bunch of different contests, which I love, and then running 150. And so for me, that sets up like perfectly for my bankroll for the week, on a week to week basis. And that's what I'm rolling with this week. So it's going to be fun. Hopefully next week, can talk about the results and hopefully they're good. I know I'll be battling you two guys up top there, so we'll see what happens. But as far as other running backs, one other reason why I want to be overweight on 3 running back builds is I'm not seeing a lot of value I like in the wide receiver position, and I don't want. One other rule I'm making is I don't want any 2 tight end builds. I don't want any tight ends in that flex spot. I just think it could be a very volatile tight end week as well. So I want to make sure that we have a lot of quality in that flex spot, and I see a lot of quality in these running back plays. One guy who was massive chalk last week, who he was 30-some%, and I had a few builds up there, and I needed a big week out of him, was Austin Eckler, and he hurt my feelings, hurt a lot of people's feelings. You got to think that's going to be cut in half this week, and the spot is almost better. So I have a ton of interest in Eckler. I think his ownership is going to get pushed down. Again, Jonathan Taylor against the Jags. I just think, one other thing I've been doing, we all got our player pools, and I keep cheating, looking over at Big T and JSUs, and man, they look really tasty, as we often say. But Jonathan Taylor said he's 8,100. I think that's going to alone suppress his ownership. So I think there are a lot of really nice spend up running back options, and I'm just going to rotate them in. Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, maybe a little bit of Cordell Patterson. I am trying to get my running back pool down to around 8 guys, and so we'll see.
Yeah, very, very tough this week. You mentioned Austin Eckler. He did hurt some people's feelings last week. JT Hayes hurt some people's feelings in the chat, calling him Austin Eckler as well. Any love to go back to him there this week, JT Hayes, on your boy Eckler?
Yeah, my boy Eckler. I mean, I feel bad for you guys pronouncing his name wrong all these years, and now we know the right way. But hey, on Thursday night on the Mayo Media Show, Tambo, this was one of my prize picks. His over-under on receiving yards set at 36.5. I think it's a big week for Austin Eckler, and I think it's a big week. We'll talk about this more when we get to wide receiver, but I'll just say I made one lineup last night just to get started. I put it in the Millie Maker, and it had 2 cheap running backs, neither of whom were named Ingram or Johnson, with Najee Harris and with 3 wide receivers who are, as you guys correctly point out, there's not a lot of value there, but Mike Williams, 6.6K, disappointed the last few weeks because he's been getting double covered. Well, guess what? That's not something the Vikings do. The Vikings really do nothing very sharp, and I don't expect them to cover him down the field. So I like Eckler a lot this week. And AP mentioned Dalvin Cook earlier. A lot of stuff going on off the field that we're not going to get into. I think that it's a good time for him to get on the field, forget about that, and have a big game.
Yeah, and I like that game a lot, actually. It's going to come up when we're about to segue to quarterback anyway. It's a good time. But a couple other guys I'll give before we move there. And AP, I'll come to you first, so be ready at quarterback. But just going through some of the guys in my pool that maybe weren't mentioned. So Cordarrelle Patterson, I'm big on this Atlanta-Dallas game today. They don't have a lot of options there. The way he's been utilized has been fair. I don't think as many people are talking about him this week. There is opportunity within that offense, so I definitely like him. DeAndre Swift, on the opposite side of that game there against Pittsburgh, I think is a definite place that you can go. I've talked about this pretty much all season, but in games he plays in where he's sort of game script independent, up, down, doesn't really matter. Now the potential for snow and everything that's going on there. We'll talk about Mason Rudolph in a minute. Snow, Rudolph, those go together quite handily in December, more likely than November, but I'll get there in a second. The other guy I wanted to talk about right quick was Zeke and Aaron Jones. I've got those guys in the pool as well, down at the bottom. Again, Zeke, because he naturally fits within the Dallas game stacks. And then I just think Aaron Jones is supposed to be a little bit chilly there as well. Green Bay against Seattle, they always have some good battles. I think that's a good spot that you could get off the chalk a little bit as well. So let's move to quarterback, AP. I'm going to start with you. I know Dak, Josh Allen, Brady, that's sort of what people are talking about, Herbert. And then, of course, Mason Rudolph. Earlier in the week, JT Hayes mentioned it, but we talked about lining up names with the week. In week 10, all I could think was Big Ben, but that's not going to work out anymore because all the options that kind of went with Pittsburgh. But you've got Deontay Johnson, no Claypool. You've got Najee Harris, who we just talked about, Freiermuth, who's been doing his thing. I know Ebron's back, but you never know. He's 3,900. And now you've got Mason Rudolph at 4,100. So talk to me about quarterback, AP, this week.
Yeah, I mean, before I dive into it, can we agree or do you guys disagree that this is an upgrade at quarterback for the Steelers?
Vegas,
I mean, are those fighting
so.
words or what?
Yeah, Vegas barely changed the line on it. They love it.
Yeah, I mean, so Mason, obviously Big Ben, I believe COVID protocol, right? So yeah, Mason Rudolph 4-1. I really like what he does for roster construction. I like pairing him with Najee Harris. What I'm banking on there is just a little dump off. Najee Harris, steamrolling into the end zone. You got some nice correlation there. And you can throw the tight end. You can throw Pat in there too. And it frees up the world. And I think just looking at this weather, we've already seen it in Discord. I don't think like Mason Rudolph's going to get steamed up too much. And if you can get a path where like he gets the ball to Najee, gets a touchdown, maybe throws one to his tight end, and then Deontay Johnson is going to get a bunch of work. I could see paths to where maybe could get you 20, and I think people are going to be scared off on the weather here. I do want your guys' thoughts on the weather too when we talk about quarterback, because that's kind of the last part of my process. I don't like to just I don't like to overfactor the weather just because I think it gets overblown all the time. And so I'll let other people get scared off of that. But prior to that news, go ahead.
I was just saying, look at that little pun there. Overblown weather. You put it together. I like that one.
There we go.
The weather gets overblown. There you go, guys. Yeah, keep going.
So prior to that news, I was really high on Aaron Rodgers. I do think this is going to be kind of that fuck you game. And we have two narratives now. Dalvin Cook. I love Dalvin Cook. He could have an FU game. I have no idea what went down there. So I don't know what his off the field stuff is. It's he said, she said stuff. And hopefully it's not too bad for him, but you have that. We all know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. I think he comes out and just slings it, puts up a big game. I love, like in every Aaron Rodgers build I have, Devontae Adams is going to be paired with him. I love that correlation there. Dak, Russ, obviously in that same game. I think Russ is going to be extremely low owned coming off the hand injury there. And Then Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's a guy I've been on the past couple of weeks. We saw him get going last week, put up a monster game. And what was crazy about Herbert, and I had a few stacks that were up there. Like I stacked him with Mike Williams, and so not Keenan Allen. And Keenan Allen was the guy that had the big game. Wish I would have gone that route, but I had Eckler, Herbert. I had a lot of pieces of that game, and the only way that you were winning money is if you would have paired him with Keenan Allen. So, but one thing I'm trying to do also is I'm trying to get my quarterback pool to 5 or under. And I want to be very overweight on my top 3 is kind of my goal there. So I'm still messing around with Rudolph. I really want you guys' opinion. That's going to help. And the other thing too is, Big T, JSU, and myself, we all have our player pools out there. Honestly, I'm working on this much like NBA. There's news that hits, inactive sits, things that change. It's best to check that like maybe 20 to 30 minutes before lock, just to see if anything's changed, because there could definitely be things in my rankings that could change this week. So, but love Rudolph, love Rodgers. Those are my top 2 at this moment.
Yeah, and I like so the week got kind of easy for me because I thought the Big Ben play well, seemingly disgusting. I was still going there on Thursday night when I talked with JT Hayes. Like I said, when people love all these other options, it's a spot where these guys are talented enough to drag any quarterback along. Like you said, maybe Mason Rudolph's even an upgrade. Big Ben has looked horrible, but at 5,700, I was saying, hey, I can at least go there because if it's going to happen, it's going to be a ceiling game and it can be done by little things. The snow, to me, it doesn't bother me. If you could have a spot where Mason Rudolph checks it down to Najee, someone slips on the snow and Najee Harris takes it for 80. Look what that does to a $4,100 quarterback on top of the guy you're most likely to stack him with. Same for Deontay Johnson. Same for that whole stack and triple stack it. It's up to you. Maybe less of a guy like James Washington if you don't want to go there because you're thinking that it would be more of a deep play and maybe that's how you want to go about things differently and just say, look. And then the other thing too is you can single stack with Rudolph. So I don't have to go too far off the board. I was already playing just a small amount of Ben. I'm like you, AP, or what you're about to be doing, where you're just trying to fine tune your quarterback pool and get it down. And then I do that, but then I go heavier up top. So while my 6th man may still be in there, he might only be at 5 to 10%. And that's kind of where I'm at with Rudolph. And this just made it easier because I didn't really love Big Ben. And now I didn't want to get too overweight. Now I can just flip all that to Mason Rudolph. So it was a very easy change for me this morning. JT Hayes, talk to me about Mason Rudolph, the same spot we just were at, and then other guys that you're liking at this quarterback position this week.
Yeah, literally within 5 minutes of that news, every opto that I ran was spitting out like 90% Mason Rudolph. So for one thing, I do think he's going to get some traction here, especially when people start to build lineups and see what you can get with Mason Rudolph. Like you said, Tambo, you stack him with Najee Harris, and now you've got what we project to be, what every site projects to be the top scoring running back on the day. And you could go a lot of places. I got a lot of studs in a lineup with Mason Rudolph. So I don't think he gets super popular, but I do think he will have some ownership. And I can't remember seeing a quarterback that's going to start at 4-1. We talked about this last week with Jordan Love. And we said, look, if he gets 200 yards passing and a touchdown, he's at 3X, right? Well, same thing for Mason Rudolph, except he's actually got a better matchup in terms of how inefficient Detroit plays. So I think, yes, definitely he is in play there. I do like Tom Brady, Dak you mentioned, and then these 2 games that have the highest totals, you've got Los Angeles and Minnesota, and then you have Dallas and Atlanta. So I'm not very interested in Kirk Cousins because I think this sets up more as a Dalvin Cook game for them where he's going to carry the burden and get the bulk of productivity. But if you move to the Dallas game, I have my concerns about Atlanta's big win last week in New Orleans and a possible letdown here, 2nd week on the road in Dallas. But if you think that game stays close, if you think that game gets near the 54 total, you mentioned my guy Cordy Patterson, who I've come around on big time. If you think that game is going to go off, you've got to have some interest in Matt Ryan because everything that the Falcons do is through the air. Neither Mike Davis nor Cordy Patterson are rushing for 100 yards today. If they put up big points, Matt Ryan's going to have a big day.
Yeah, and I think you got to take some chances on that. I talked about it already. If you guys don't know, last week I tried to make the Dak stack attack work. I had rhymes and everything to go with it. This week it's Back to Dak. I'm going to call it that one instead. So we got to go back to Dak. I don't care about the ownership. There's lots of ways that you can get different elsewhere.
Tambo, you're the best at all these little deals.
I try and come up with as many as possible just for you, AP. I love it. I think it's a good spot, though. And I do think, too, that's sort of the thing I always look at. I call it opposite quarterback. And it's what JT Hayes was just talking about. Listen, I don't think Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. I don't think he makes sense as far as, going to be a top quarterback on the season or anything. But we're not playing seasonal DFS here. We're playing today. What goes on in this game against Dallas this week, week 10 NFL? That's all that matters. And that's all I care about. And look at it. You saw last year, we called Drew Brees noodle arm, and he had Kamara and Mike Thomas just drag his ass right to the finish line every week. Why couldn't Cordy Patterson and Kyle Pitts have that kind of game? We just saw Teddy Bridgewater, of all people, torch this Dallas team. Why can't Ryan just come out and have a decent game? And then you've got your Coopers, Lambs, Schultz, Zeke, whatever you want to use on the run back. There's lots of options you can go there with it. So that's one I like. Definitely in on Brady. People just cannot, I don't understand it. They're not coming around to it. He never seems to have enough ownership. The target tree keeps getting smaller. AB is out. Gronk is out. You keep having options of easy ways to stack him. All he wants to do, I keep saying it, but he's last year's Aaron Rodgers. All he wants to do is throw. They'll be up 3 touchdowns, and he's still trying to throw another touchdown. He's literally trying to do everything. He's trying to sneak things in. He's trying to make sure he gets MVP and gets his team back and does it all again. That's what Brady does. I'm not a Brady fan, but how can you not be in fantasy when this is what he's doing week in, week out? So I think he's a great play. A couple other guys, Herbert, you mentioned, I'm in on. Aaron Rodgers, of course, I'm in on. The last one is Josh Allen. So all the guys at the top, I think, make a lot of sense. And then a little bit of the shares of Mason Rudolph. Josh Allen, 2 pretty bad weeks in a row. I don't know if third time's the charm, but I definitely like going back to him also. AP, anything else you want to talk about here at this position? And guys, throw in the chat if you want to talk about more.
Yeah, like the tough, like I get you've been like spot on with these Brady stacks. And my problem is I haven't been on it yet. And I always feel like a donkey, just like, I faded it for this long. Like, do I get on it now? But again, it's a week by week league, especially for us. And I mean, Brady has such a phenomenal matchup. Evans should dominate. And the thing about the receivers is you can always double stack it. You can always play Brady plus 2 of his pass catchers. I mean, you could even go Uncle Lenny in there too. They got a 30 team total. Brady's just looks so good. Speaking of potential MVP candidates, I know one guy who's going to be on the next show is very high on Carson Wentz. Kind of want your guys' opinion also on Wentz, because, and this is my problem, I'm trying to keep my QB pool to 5 or under, and Brady is number 6 right now, so he's just outside looking in, and I got to find, like, who do I think the guy I would take out is maybe Russ Wilson, and what I'm betting on there is, if that game goes off like we think, Rodgers has to be the guy that's in the winner, that puts up a big number there. So maybe I could get off Russ and get Brady in there. But and then I was reading some of Big T stuff and some of the other content that we already have out. Carson Wentz, 5.9K. You gotta, maybe if Brady starts sucking, like maybe that, our boy Big T, he's got a big MVP bet on Carson Wentz. There's a few passes. I mean, he's looked good. Like, I got to give Big T credit. We were all making fun of him, a few weeks ago. And now Carson Wentz, he's starting to look a little bit better. You got to think that they're just going to steamroll this Jags team coming off that big win. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do here. I know, though, at quarterback, I know I'm locked in on Rudolph, Rodgers, and then I do want one of these dome guys. It's probably going to be Dak. We just talked about kind of rebounding, rebound type games. You got to think Dak's going to have a monster one here after that really bad performance against the Broncos last week.
Yeah, you said you got some things to figure out there. I think you got a lot to figure out when you're saying the words MVP candidate and Wentz in the same sentence. I know it's a joke, but my God, you've been talking to Big T too much, man. And if you guys want to see Big T, stick around. We got the Morning Wood Show next. Again, hit that like button, guys. We're almost at 200. Push for 200 now. It'll be the earliest we hit 200 yet. We really appreciate it. So thank you guys in the chat that are staying busy. We're going to go to wide receiver soon. But before we do, JT Hayes, I'm going to kick some of the chat questions to you and let you handle these guys. We want to talk a little bit about PJ Walker. stacking them up with CMC more. You can get unique in that sense. And then Heineke, I think, has been talked about a little more across the industry than I've heard or than I guess I like. So talk to me about PJ Walker, the Carolina offense, and then a little bit on Taylor Heineke as well for Washington.
Yeah, I think AP made a good point about keeping your quarterback pool smaller. The reason why I'm not going to be on PJ Walker is because I think for a cheaper price, Mason Rudolph is probably the better play here. The Arizona defense has been pretty good. That offense, I mean, when they had Sam Darnold, they couldn't get anything going. Perhaps it's an upgrade there as well to PJ Walker, but it's just not a spot I'm on this week. And same thing with the Carson Wentz spot. Maybe that's a game I'm overlooking because it does have a fairly high total, but I just think that Indianapolis has such a great running game that it's really hard for Wentz at that price point to get to the type of ceiling game that he's going to need. The price is sort of in the middle too. Doesn't do enough to let me to fit all of the higher price plays that I want. And it isn't high enough to where, okay, I feel comfortable punting one of these wide receiver positions because, again, like we're going to talk about here in a few minutes, very little value there. So just off on those two guys, even though I think Wentz could have a fine game against Jacksonville, of course. And then one thing that our guy Kevin Fallick brought up, he said, hey, James Conner, haven't heard him mentioned. And here's another one, because we talked about running back being loaded this week. And in that game, you have Conner, who looks like he's going to be a little bit popular just because I think there's some buzz from his game last week. And then he's popping in a lot of projection models that I look at. And then across from him, Christian McCaffrey, you're going to get him at maybe under 5% ownership today. And again, both good spots. It's just these other spots are equally as good. And I don't know that I want to go back to James Conner. There is news to come. Looks like Kyler is maybe more probable than questionable to play. Hopkins probably out again. So not sure that I'm going to get to Conner, but I think McCaffrey is somewhat interesting with the level of volume that he's likely going to see in that matchup with the backup quarterback, PJ Walker.
Yeah, and I didn't hate the James Conner point. I'm glad you gave Kevin what he wanted, Mr. Fallick. You needed that answer so bad. So thank you, JT Hayes, for
always got to
making
give
whole.
Fallick what he wants.
Yeah, there you go. I said it in the chat, though. I do think that's one that we kind of looked over, but he's one that, well, he may be. It's like I always say, people actually have to click the button. And with all the conversations, the way things have went as the week goes on, it's seemingly going to be less owned than what we would have expected originally because of all the other plays that have come up. And then wanting to fit one of those expensive guys, he sort of falls in between and can work on those balanced builds. I like him there. I guess I would like him a little more on FanDuel because I think he's really touchdown dependent. And that's what you require over there. Of course, he can always have a big game and work on both sites, but AP, let's move over to wide receiver. Guys, throw some wide receivers in the chat you want to talk about. Hit the like button. We're already at almost 180, about to hit 200, which is awesome. By the way, AP, when we're talking about wide receiver, don't like go if you want to pair it with stacks and things like that. I think that's the best way to do it. People have said they love that in the chat where you can kind of correlate it with what you're doing at your quarterback position. So at the top, we've got Devontae Adams at one of the lowest price tags I've seen in a while on him. And then Mike Evans, Keenan Allen off that big game last week. What else do you got here at wide receiver this week?
Yeah. So, I mean, my favorite wide receiver, I think he's going to be very popular though, Devontae Adams. And I think if you're playing Rodgers and you don't have Adams, I think it's a huge mistake, but I'll also have him just as one-offs. I mean, Mason Rudolph, those builds, and this could be another thing too. Like some of those builds just look too good to the eye when you put Mason Rudolph in there. And sometimes that's not a good thing. Sometimes, especially in tournaments, you want the build not to look so good. You want it to be like, I don't know if I want to play that. Usually when you're feeling that way, you're on the right path. So some of these, so I might dial back my Rudolph because I don't know. I'm probably just going to stick with it. But Rodgers, Adams, definitely my favorite QB to wide receiver stack. And then Deontay Johnson is one other guy that's very high up on my list. I got him number 3. My number 2 guy, this is just all chalk guys, but you just got to eat the chalk sometime, Mike Evans. But Mike Evans is like, Brady's on the outside looking in. And I don't know if he'll make my pool, but I just think Mike Evans, you got to have exposure to to these Brady receivers. They're just getting so much target volume, and the floor upside combination is just too good there. I know our boy Big T is going to be high on Michael Pittman, and anytime I see him in his core, I'm like, oh, I got to bump that guy up. In a dome there against a defense that should absolutely get torched. And he's been Carson Wentz's favorite target, and he is not disappointed. And I feel like he's always a little bit lower owned than what he should be. So I think he's going to be another guy. I don't know if I'm going to have him correlated. I try to play all of our cores or get a little bit of exposure to him. So I'm sure I'll get a little bit of Carson Wentz in there. I'm just still trying to stick to my rules as well. But the other thing too, at the receiver position, I talked about it. Like, I don't like a lot of this value, which is why I like that running back value, because I think we can get to a bunch of these guys like Mike Evans, who's under 7K, Michael Pittman, who's 6'3", Amari Cooper, who's 6'2", Mike Williams, big Mike Williams. He can, he always has slate breaking upside. We either see him just kind of bust or go absolutely nuclear. These are the guys I want exposure to, and I'm going to have a bunch of them. But by far, my favorite is Devontae Adams. I'm going to be very overweight on him, and then probably Deontay Johnson or Mike Evans after that.
Yeah, one thing I'll say for me definitely this week, just to be a little bit different, I guess, is Adams is hard not to play because the price is so good, but I'll actually go opposite of you. I will not use him as a one-off in any lineups. I will only stack him with Rodgers, because I think, and we've seen it, JSU, K Fallick, myself, if you guys aren't over at RPS, again, RPS Heater 25, sign up, get in there. But every Monday we do a review show. And if Adams is going to get 40 or 50 and be necessary, imagine what that means for Aaron Rodgers. So I'm only going to put him on teams with Aaron Rodgers, since he's garnering the highest ownership on the slate at wide receiver. Just a little bit of a different way I can go about it. My guy, Nadasify, he wants to talk about this so bad, the OSU connection of Mason Rudolph and James Washington. I'm there. I'm with you. I talked about earlier. I said maybe some will go against that because of the weather, or I could see why you would go off it because of the weather. But you make a good point, right? It's just about $8,000 under, and you can get that college connection, if you will, of Rudolph and James Washington for cheap. Stack up everything elsewhere. Go ahead, AP. Anything?
Oh man, you're so good at catching that. You mentioned the weather, and it just made me think of something. Remember that monsoon game out in California where the total just dropped like 7 points, and everyone was like, "Oh, you got to play the defenses." It was a showdown slate. What wasn't there like 55 points scored in that game? Yeah. I mean, that game went nuclear. So
man, that's snow. We've seen it with Buffalo, with the LaShawn McCoy
stuff.
3 touchdown games and situational stuff, where, like I said, it can just happen. So if you wanted to roll, Mason Rudolph, you want to put in there Najee Harris because they check it down, or just try and push the run game the whole way, and then have that one shot to James Washington that happens to get there, or maybe he gets an end around, or who knows, man. James Washington's shifty. I don't hate it. I just think it's funny, right? Like, you could see it there. I know Pete Overzet said last night the slate got flipped on its head, and I said it got smashed in the head because you remember the Myles Garrett helmet to the head over Mason Rudolph. So that's the last memory most have of this guy. Not a good one, but just saying in general, I could see how you could get there. Other guys for me, the chat's talking about it. My boy Title, love Title. JSU, if you're listening, get me on a show with Title. This guy's incredible. Love this guy's whole perspective on everything. And he says Justin Jefferson season. Talk to me about that, JT Hayes, because I'm there. I'm big on this Chargers Minnesota game. I think it makes sense in all the ways. If you look at the props, Justin Jefferson always has the best and gets there, yet everyone continues to leave him off their rosters or their player pools. What are your thoughts on Justin Jefferson and then some of the other guys at wide receiver this week?
I had Justin Jefferson last week as one of my top plays of the day, and he did fine. He got 17 DraftKings points, but he's priced up now at 7.7. I think Title's referring to some of the comments out of Minnesota that, hey, we need to get this guy more involved. Even though they got him involved last week, it still wasn't enough. And it's interesting because if you think it is Justin Jefferson's season, then you got to be careful with Dalvin Cook, because these guys are priced up where Cook is 8 and Jefferson is 7.7. And it's going to be hard for them both to reach their ceilings, right, in the same game. So if you're playing Jefferson, then you're more on, I think, the Kirk Cousins to Jefferson stack, which is not the path that I said I was going to be on, which was looking at Dalvin Cook. 1 point on James Washington. Yes, the connection the last couple of times that Mason Rudolph has gotten extended playing time. He has targeted Washington, and Chase Claypool is out today. So it's actually a path for him to get on the field, which is the most important thing to having that big game. He is in the mid threes as well. The first lineup I built, my 3-receiver set in that lineup, if you will, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, and Mike Williams. And those are 3 of my favorite wide receivers on the slate today. So I'm going to start there. I do think that in that Green Bay-Seattle game with Russ back, the connection he had with Lockett earlier in the year, then coverages flipped, and you saw them start to pay more attention to Lockett than DK Metcalf. And so Metcalf had a couple of big games. Well, that was a long time ago, and it's not going to show up on tape. So I think you can go back to Lockett in the mid-6s as well. As far as value, one of the guys in the chat mentioned Deontay Harris. Deontay Harris is quickly becoming the number 1 target for the New Orleans quarterbacks. It's just an offense that's hard to target. Deontay is now up over 4K. I had a little bit of him last week at 3.9 in the game against Atlanta, and he was close to breaking one. He just didn't quite get to the ceiling. He got about 13 DK points. So if you need to punt, I don't advise punting 2 spots at wide receiver because I think you're going to go 1 spot and then look to get a secondary higher price running back. But I don't mind Deontay Harris. And I think Washington is actually a pretty sharp play here.
Yeah, I said that earlier too in the week. I think that it could be a good leverage play going off of Ingram. It's cheaper. It's $500 cheaper, and you could play Harris in that spot where Simeon really is targeting him. And he's getting in there again. Obviously, Taysom Hill will get some snaps and mix in, but I do think Harris could be a play that you go to this week at wide receiver as one of the values in a spot where we have very little. Some of the other stuff, just thinking about it here, like Jerry Jeudy was mentioned in the chat. I think he makes a lot of sense that his price tag this week, that slot matchup is usually pretty good there. I think you can go there even as a one-off, or I love the secondary stack of like a Dallas Goedert, which we'll get to tight end with Jerry Jeudy, and just playing those 2 and stacking up around it. The other thing to the Jefferson point, I just think it's where if you can commit to some of these cheaper running backs, I know you're fine with even some of the cheaper ones, JTAs that are not the chalk, but I'm just saying if you can go that route, you don't have to go to the Kirk Cousins side if you don't want to. You can still go Herbert, Mike Williams, Jefferson, some cheap running backs, a sort of mid-tier tight end, and a value secondary stack, whatever defense fits. And you've got yourself a pretty nice build that still has upside and is centered around a game that we would expect a lot of points from here in the Chargers and Vikings. So I think that's a spot to go. Some of the other guys, obviously the Buffalo guys, I don't feel like they're getting talked about enough. I've seen this as well, and it's kind of odd, but with Josh Allen gets talked up, but then people can't make the decision. So it gets extremely spaced out and dispersed at wide receiver when it comes to Diggs, Beasley, Sanders. Now they've got Dawson Knox coming back, who I like this week at tight end. Again, I'm bringing up some tight ends early now. Keep throwing names in the chat, guys, and we're 5 away from 200. So let's just get 200. We've got almost 400 people watching. Hit the like button. It's free to do. Very easy. Just tap it in, like Happy Gilmore. Just tap it in. Hit that like button. Let's roll. Back to you, AP. Any other wide receivers? And is there anybody in the cheaper range you want to talk about besides the aforementioned James Washington and Deontay Harris?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to, I obviously like James Washington. If I have Mason Rudolph in my player pool at the quarterback spot, he's definitely fine. I'm not like, I don't like a lot of these sub 5K guys. Even like a guy like Russell Gage in that game. I feel like he's a 4 or 5 guy, obviously they're thin at the receiver position there, but the Atlanta, I mean, we could see any of these guys, Tajay Sharp. Any of these guys could score a touchdown, or the targets will just go to Pitts, which we'll probably talk about here in a second. But no, I'm under projecting a lot of these values. I want kind of these mid-tier receivers to fill up those 3 spots. So I'm just looking real quick. Deontay Harris, I think you guys named a lot of them. James Washington, Deontay Harris, maybe a little bit of Jerry Jeudy for me. I could see one of these Browns guys like Peoples Jones, one of those guys maybe get a little bit, but I'm just not in love. Okay, so we talk about the Chargers and Vikings game in a dome. The target share hasn't been there, but would any of us be surprised if finally, I guess KJ Osborne had a few good games, but Jalen Guyton on the other side, he had a few monster games last season, hasn't seen anything like it this season, but I'm going to have him in my pool because I just wouldn't be surprised if finally he took one deep. And same could be said for KJ Osborne. But I'm not forcing a lot of these 3K punt types into my builds this week.
Yeah, if you guys, have watched this show in the past, we're usually all over this value tier. Maybe more will come up. We've got about 20 minutes left in the show. Just crossed our 200 likes in a huge way. Appreciate you guys. Now we're really pushing for 300 at this point. But we've talked a lot about, and we've got time. If we circle back, we'll get there. But of course, I forgot to mention the guy with the best first name on the planet, Tyler Johnson. Thank you to the chat for reminding me. Of course, in those Brady stacks, his price, no AB, no Gronk. I think he makes a ton of sense this week at that price. I'm definitely using him, especially in those Brady stacks. So he can be utilized. And then another one that nobody talked about here. Again, he's not cheap, but I think he's a really good off the chalk play for the slate is AJ Brown. And he'll have some ownership. Obviously, no Julio there, but I don't think as many people are going to get to it this late in the week where you think of a good secondary stack of if you're already going to have Ingram in there and then run it the other side with AJ Brown. I think much less will be focused on that and more on the other stacks because they're not stacking Tennessee or anything in that game. So I think that's another way that you could go about it there. And then they want to talk about this, JT Hayes. You mentioned not going to PJ Walker earlier, I know, but they definitely want to talk about Throbby Robbie. Of course, Morningwood is going to have some Throbby Robbie conversations with Hoop on there, but is this finally the week when nobody's on him that he makes something work with Walker at the helm?
I mean, look, anything can happen. I've watched that offense probably because I played Robbie Anderson each of the first 6 or 7 weeks in different lineups thinking this is the week. And the offense under Darnold from the Cowboy game on was just disgusting to watch. The other thing that was hard to watch was it wasn't like they were ignoring Robbie and he wasn't getting targeted. He was getting, in some games, he got 11 targets. Now, you could throw away 3 or 4 of those targets because they were poorly thrown balls, but he was dropping balls that were thrown at his chest. He was dropping balls that were thrown at his hands. So I don't know. I mean, you can, if you're going to go and you're going to go heavy on that game, I think you're going to be contrarian. I'm just going to avoid. It's just not, PJ Walker's not a guy I'm going to build around today. I'll put it that way.
Holden in the chat says, get out of here, Tambo. Even Hoop's done with that guy. Well, we'll have to see. I don't know. I think you'd have to almost be done with him. And if he does something at this point, now, I don't think as many or enough will be on him that it matters. I was trying to see if there was anybody else. I'm with you.
I got a guy that I want JT's take on. Your boy, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Some guy named?
Some guy?
Some guy named.
Five targets last week?
Yeah.
Well, what do we think, JT Hayes?
I mean, I don't know. Like, so here's the thing, right? We got 11 games. I want to target guys who have good quarterbacks that can get them the ball. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond, even TJ Hawkinson, they can have a big game. It can happen. Do I think it's predictable? Do I think there's any consistency there? Pittsburgh's defense has been pretty good. They've been shutting teams down. They have been allowing, a ton of points. They're at home, and I don't know. I mean, if I landed on his name, I would probably just start over and say I made a mistake.
There we go. I like it.
My answer was going to be easier. It was going to be no, but we can use it as a good segue to go to tight end because I don't hate the Hawkinson call there. Like if you wanted to play and get a little bit different at tight end, I think Hawkinson is in play if you want to run that back. One thing I would note for sure is I don't think you have to run this spot back. I also think Swift is in play, like I said, because he sort of fits any script. That's what we always like with our running backs. And guys, now we're real close to 250. So keep hitting that like button, well over 400 in here watching. We appreciate it. AP, I'm going to kick it right back to you. We've got Dan Arnold week part 2, where he's back here at 3,500. He's garnering all the ownership. Of course, Pitts in that Atlanta-Dallas game with that total. And then after that, it sort of disperses out with some other guys, Conklin, Schultz, Goddard, Cook, Seals, Jones, but especially Dan Arnold at the top for Jacksonville, and then Kyle Pitts. What are you doing with those two guys? And then who else do you like at the position this week?
Yeah, I mean, tight end is it's such a volatile position, especially this year, except for in showdown formats. For some reason, those showdown games, like the tight ends just go nuts. It is what it is, but I'm only going to have one. I'm going to have 0-2 tight end builds. Obviously, I like the correlation with Rudolph. I got hit, and then Kyle Pitts in that game as well. You got to like that 5'8". I mean, Kyle Pitts is basically like a receiver, and that game being in a dome, if it does shoot out, you got to think that Kyle Pitts is going to do well. So like a rule that I want to make is Kyle Pitts is going to be in all my DAC lineups, just to have some same game correlation there. I got a dusty, off the wall, off the chalk play. This guy broke a slate already this year. No one's going to be on him. But I mean, when you look at the Browns, they just like, God, they're so like spread out. You know, Baker spreads it out. We know the Patriots like to take away, you know, whatever the best option is. We got David Njoku, 3-2, going to be like 1% owned. I could see him just breaking loose here, like them trying, you know, Baker trying to get the ball to the best athlete, biggest target. David Njoku, you know, we need him to break one here. He did it earlier this season against the Chargers. Went absolutely nuclear, 28 fantasy points. I just think one of these tight ends is getting in the end zone this week, either Hooper or Njoku, and I kind of like Njoku there in builds where I don't have Dearness Johnson in there, and I'm not going like crazy overweight on him. What also like the other thing I'm thinking about doing is just kind of spreading it around. I'm going to be overweight on my tight end pool, but I'm also just like, you know, I'm also going to have a larger pool than you know, what some people might have, just since I'm kind of embracing the volatility at that position. So I got Conklin, I got Dan Arnold, OJ Howard, David Njoku, Kyle Pitts is kind of where my pool is at right now.
Yeah, and speaking of Hooper, who you mentioned after Njoku there, Hoopster is in the chat right now saying he's done, dead to me on Robbie Anderson. So for everyone who wanted the spoiler alert, there it is. Robbie Anderson dead to Hoop. I don't know what that means, but Hoop's very sharp, so it probably means he still does nothing, which he's done all season, so it doesn't really matter. A couple of the other questions made me think of some other stuff before I kick it to you, JT Hayes, at tight end, but Randall Cobb, I pulled the big T. I upped his projection. I jammed him with Rodgers to try and make it work. They still did not put him in lineup. So if Cobb has a day, I don't know how it happened because it would not put him no matter what I tried to do unless I hit a lock button. So I'm not doing that. So that didn't work. One guy I thought of at the last position, and JT Hayes, you and I talked about it. It gets easy to predict when you're going on week 10 and you can just keep saying the same thing. But I said, I like a little secondary stack. If you're going to play Dearness Johnson and you want to keep a cheap mid-tier guy, Jacoby Myers finally gets a touchdown this week. That's my prediction. It may be all he does and doesn't really help with this $4,800 price tag, but wanted to bring him up as sort of a mid-tier value back at wide receiver. And then before I kick to you at tight end, I'll just give one that I want to get thoughts on because I heard this earlier in the week. Then we got the Damian Harris news that he's out, and they were talking about Jonnu Smith getting some running back carries potentially and getting some opportunity, talking about big guys, athletes, $2,500 at the position could be a really sneaky secondary snack with tasty, like we say here at RPS, but using him opposite of Dearness Johnson. What are your thoughts on Jonnu Smith and who else do you got here at the tight end position?
Yeah, I would say if Bill Belichick says it publicly during the week, it's unlikely to happen. So I don't know. I don't know if I could get behind that, but I think AP brings up a good point. The tight end position has been volatile. We've seen the last couple of weeks. We've talked about this with Kyle Pitts, where teams have said, hey, this team has absolutely no weapons except for Pitts and Cordy. By the way, Kevin Fallett, Cordy with a Y is how the lunch notes go. And they said, look, we're going to do what we can to take away Pitts. And they have, and that's resulted in lesser productivity from him. The Cowboys coaching staff, I don't think many would describe it as particularly sharp. So there's a chance they don't do that today. And it is a good environment. It is a high total. It is a game in a dome. And, so I don't mind. You want to play Njoku, you want to play Jonnu Smith. I think we used to say with some of these players, you have to be happy accepting a zero. But that's the case with any tight end, really, just because of the way the volatility has been, except for guys like you would say Kelsey and Waller and Andrews, but even they've had their down games and none of them are on the slate. So a couple interesting spots. Philadelphia is giving up the most fantasy points to opposing tight ends of any team on the slate. Noah Fant is due back off the COVID IR. Albert O is questionable. So a little bit more interest if Albert O is going to be inactive because that means a few more targets. But again, Jerry Jeudy is back, so it's not like he's a smash play. You've talked about Goddard. I think he's in play. We've talked about Freiermuth. Be interesting to see if now that the Steelers have a quarterback who can throw the ball more than 15 yards in the air, are they still going to lean on Freiermuth and Najee for all those short passes? I think Najee is the one that I would bank on continuing, but Freiermuth is cheap enough now still where he could get in the end zone. You talked about Dan Arnold, and it's going to be interesting because my lean on this Cleveland-New England game is that the Patriots are going to find a way to get into that backfield. They're going to find a way to force Baker Mayfield into mistakes, which really, that's why I'm not very heavy on Johnson, not very heavy on that offense, because there's a path for this game to be really, really ugly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like a couple of the other thoughts I had, just because we're running out of time, I want to keep it rolling for you guys. A lot of good conversation in the chat. But Dan Arnold, I like him as the secondary stack. Just going back to the chalk here for a minute, I like him as the secondary stack with Jonathan Taylor. I like Kyle Pitts only in my Ryan or Dak builds for that game, just with the ownership and what he's definitely disappointed in the past, but I think he would be a key cog in making that game go off, obviously. So I think that one makes sense. I like Schultz on the other side. Just going down through my list, a couple other guys. So I mentioned Dawson Knox earlier. Maybe people won't go back to him this early, just sort of first game back. I think he's interesting. And AP, I know you mentioned Tyler Conklin. Again, great first name, but I also like him as a play within that game stack to get a little bit unique. Anybody else, AP, before we move to defense that you want to talk about?
No, I mean, Conklin's such a good play this week. I mean, tight ends continue to smash against the Chargers. Great game environment there. If you're struggling at the tight end position and you want to get off some of the chalk, I think he is the guy that you want.
Yeah, we got 7 minutes here, guys, to go on that 300. We've never hit 300 yet, but now we're topping 250 back-to-back weeks. Love to see that. Appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. Lots of people, almost 500 watching. Takes 2 seconds. Just give it a click. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do so. And you'll want to stick around next, because next up is Big T, Coop, and Holden with the Morning Woods, 6 to midnight, baby. Let's go. So we'll get there. But JT Hayes, let's move to this defense position. We always give this to the people. This can make or break a slate. We always say that. We talk about it enough, and I love that we bring it up each week. We've got, I'm seeing here now for ownership, like even the Jets at stone minimum, but I think more so we'll see Titans, Cardinals, and even the Lions. So what do you like here at defense this week?
Yeah, first, before we get to defense, I heard a rumor. I can't confirm it's true. I'm going to tell the people what I heard. And that's that if we get to 325 likes, Hoop is going to do the next show shirtless. I don't know if it's true. I can't confirm,
shot,
but
though. It's definitely worth a shot.
What I would say is get to 325, see what happens. Who knows? Maybe he shows up without a shirt, just a chain around his bare chest. So in terms of defense, I think there's a lot of options here to like this week. Right up top, the Buffalo Bills against the New York Jets. Tambo, we don't think Mike White is going to throw for 400 yards against the Buffalo Bills like he did against the Bengals, do we? No, of course we don't. Yeah, so I like the Bills here a bit. And then Pittsburgh, again, they're taking on Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, very turnover-prone there. Indianapolis in a good spot against Trevor Lawrence, who still isn't quite there yet, and a Jacksonville team that is likely, I think, going to be without James Robinson, so you're going to have a dusty backfield there. But in terms of paying down, the two places that I kind of end up here at the lower price point, one in particular that I think is interesting because I want your guys' thoughts on, a lot of question marks on Arizona, and Carolina is just 2,400. It's been a bunch of weeks where Carolina's been in the winner. They've got a pretty good defense. They are on the road, but that seems just a little bit too cheap for Carolina. And then, Tambo, the other one, you mentioned it on Thursday night, the Philadelphia Eagles, Denver coming off a huge win in Dallas. The game is in Denver, but the Eagles are priced down as well. So I think there's some, and we've seen this, I would say the majority of weeks this year. There's been a couple of weeks where it's the higher priced. The Patriots one week, I think it was the week 3 where they took on Zach Wilson and the Jets. But more often than not, it's somewhere in that 2,300 to 2,900 price range, a defense that gets into the double digits, and it's staring you in the face all week long. You just didn't click it.
Yeah, and I think the one you mentioned there that I like the most is Philly. It's way more likely to me that Teddy Bridgewater comes back down to planet Earth, doesn't have the week that he had last week, and Philly can just get after him. And listen, you don't got to pivot at defense necessarily. I just personally don't like playing the highest owned defense when it's, the 2,300 or 2K defense. So I think at 2,700, a lot of people are on the Titans this week at 2,600. I think it's okay to move to Philly. And the chat asked how many for Big T to take his shirt off. He doesn't take his shirt off very often, not even at pool parties. We know the movie star, we've seen it. So 350 is what we're looking for though. And Hoop will wear the wig, then look like Titletown. I love that every week. It still kills me every time with the rich parents play. And then he's got the wig on. So 350 would be nice. We're just about to hit 300. We appreciate all you guys. Some of the other Ds that I like, JT Hayes, you mentioned them, but I'll bring them up again. The Bills for sure, you talked about. The Colts against Trevor Lawrence. It's just been a continuous factor. I think they're going to be in play. I think they're a nice little if you want to use a secondary stack and put them with Jonathan Taylor. When we talked about, you sort of already would have a unique construction there. So I think that makes sense too. And Hoop just mentioned in the chat, there's going to be a special guest on the Wood Show. So definitely stick around for that. Keep the likes rolling in. AP, what are you doing here at defense this week as we round out this show for everyone?
Yeah, I actually like some of these defenses that are above 3K and right around 4K or under. I think the Bucks against Taylor Heineke, I think they're a solid play. Heineke has 9 picks in his last however many games he's played this season, probably what, seven or so. I mean, you're basically almost guaranteed that he's going to throw a pick there. I also like the Colts, like you mentioned. Steelers, I think, are in play. The Titans defense, I think, is really good. Another sneaky defense that I think people are going to be definitely off of, because we talk about it all the time. Teams just like coming off a bad game, turning it around. I mean, this Dallas defense looked very good early in the year, looked like trash last game. I could see them, like in this game, I could see them just destroying the Falcons in that defense. Them having at least one defensive touchdown. So I don't think anyone's going to be on the Cowboys defense. I mean, they're definitely going to be lower owned. I have interest in them as well.
Yeah, that'd be a sneaky one for sure. I think they'll be way lower owned than most would say there. So let's round it out. We got the 1.5, 2 minutes left. We're going to get to our off the chalk plays of the week. And JT Hayes, I'm going to start with you. What do you got for us this week?
Yeah, I'm torn. I'm torn between two, and I think I'm just going to follow the math, as we say sometimes in DFS. The team that's yielding the most amount of fantasy points to opposing running backs on the slate is the New York Jets. It's just going to take Zach Moss one big play to get there. He's off of the Dearness Johnson and the Mark Ingram chalk, and I really feel strongly I think Zach Moss is going to make it into my main lineup.
Nice. That's different for sure. Like you said, and you're still pretty cheap. Not super cheap like the other guys, just a little bit more money. And we talk about that all the time, spending up and just getting a little better quality TV to get that better long-lasting picture and a better quality product. AP, what do you got for us for your off-the-chalk play this week?
Yeah, I mean, despite the weather, despite the low total there, I think this game's going to go over the total. And it's going to be because Pittsburgh puts up 28 points today against a terrible Lions team. Mason Rudolph gets there at 4-1. I think he gets us 20-plus DraftKings points today.
I like it. And I'll give you guys mine. We didn't actually talk about this guy, but I talked so much about Dak, and somehow this guy just didn't come up. I saw it come up in the chat later, so I'm going to bring it up now. But I think activated off IR, the Dak stack is going to go off, and I think Michael Gallup is going to be part of it. Again, guy we didn't talk about. He's sort of one of those cheaper wide receivers that not many people are going to make the stack work. I think he can go off within that stack. You can pair him with whoever and still play Schultz, play Cooper, play Lamb, whatever you want with him and with Dak. So that's it. I'm looking in the chat. I think Holden is going to get canceled. I know he's on the next show, but he's throwing out crazy offers and stuff and names. Holden, come on, buddy. Let's go. Let's move it on, though, and stick around, because after this, we are going to have the preview, the movie star, the Big T GOAT special for DraftKings. So watch that. Stay tuned for the Morning Wood. For AP, for JT Hayes, for producer Simon, I'm ToeTagginTambo. Simon, get us out of here.
Some people might call me the Michael Jordan of fantasy, and I'm not going to argue with them.
When all is said and done, the whistles go, woo!
Awesemo, you've been #1 for multiple years now, but I'm coming for you, buddy.
I'm Alex Baker, sometimes better known by my DraftKings handle, Osimo. I'm trying to win this DraftKings football championship for a cool $2.5 million. At these live finals, I've had so many people come up and they're like, I want to be as good a player as you, but I just don't have the time between like a family and a job. And that's really why I started Osimo.com. We feel like playing DFS professionally or playing for profit shouldn't be a full-time job. You should be able to get all the information you need in an easy manner and be successful and still be able to have a life outside of DFS. I just got back from my honeymoon like last Monday, so I did miss a little bit of the football action, so I'm trying to like figure out like what happened in this week and a half. Now I'm not playing for one person anymore. I'm playing for two people, so I got to make sure I win it for me and my wife now that we're married.
Have you qualified for Miami yet?
Yeah, I got a couple entries, so it'll be fun to go out there and compete. It's like $2.5 million this year. Two of the guys I'm keeping an eye out for are BigT and the Whistles Go Woo.
Alex, these guys, I mean, you, in my mind at least, you're the unmistakable GOAT of DFS. So you've been a #1 player for the 3, 4, 5 years now. What is it?
Yeah, like 5 years. Like if I can keep it this year, it'll be 5. And you also got some new guys that are trying to be in that mix. Whistles Go Woo is one of them, where he's kind of come onto the scene more recently and taken the world by storm.
My name is David Bergman, a.k.a. The Whistles Go Woo! And I'm one of the, I am the champion from last year. That's all I'm going to say. Took it down somewhat in a surprise fashion, I would say. But I'm back again and hoping to repeat if possible. 3 years ago, certainly nobody in the daily fantasy sports world had known about me. I think a ton of people in academia had known me as a professor, succeeding in academic research, in teaching, and doing very well in that trajectory, but certainly not in the daily fantasy sports world. You grow up, you start to understand the things that you've got some skill in. Mine has always been speed. I do everything quickly. I do math quickly. I do computer programming quickly. I solve Rubik's Cubes ridiculously quickly, under 20 seconds. Can even do it blindfolded, also very quickly. Speed was always mine. It helps me in daily fantasy sports. I can make really quick decisions.
Yeah, if I had to guess how many gigahertz David Bergman's brain operated at, I'd probably guess 2.6 gigahertz.
Some people wonder how I succeed on DFS. Well, this is my brain on DFS. I'd be happy to talk about Big T44 as well. He is one of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
My name is Tony Niehaus, screen name on DraftKings, Big T44. I'm here at home right now, but we are working on the road to the FFWC. That is the goal the rest of the year. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been in sports, played basketball, football, golf, baseball. My whole life, it was always, even growing up on Sundays, my punishment would be I'm not allowed to watch football if I ever got in trouble. I've always loved sports. It's why it kind of clicked. Even my wife, Amber, says this was a natural fit from the beginning for me.
There was really no question that this would line up perfectly with who he is, what he's great at, what he loves to do.
Watch these games, pick winners, and just have fun with it, because it's not work for me when I really enjoy it. I would say my biggest edge DFS-wise is for sure the feel of the game, but you have to have numbers in there too. But when you mix the feel and the numbers, I think that's where you get the deadly combo. And if you can do both, I like your chances. So the sweat of DFS is my favorite part. We put our teams in on Sundays, let's say. We go, we watch all the games, we make adjustments, we make late swaps, we see how we're doing in the standings. I probably watch more games than almost anyone, so the sweat part's fun for me. I know the guys I'm super heavy on, I know the guys I'm rooting for, I know the guys I'm rooting against, and honestly, that's the funnest part for me, sitting down watching the games. All the work is done. We just get to see how our work produces, and I love it.
The journey that we're on in this Until the Fantasy Football World Championship is to follow along some of the biggest players in fantasy sports, culminating in December in Miami for the big day. Let's go.
What's up? It's Holden. It's Big T. It's Hoop. And it's the Morning Wood. And we're so happy to be here with you. And before I even get into my spiel here, Hoop, we've got such a big surprise coming up for the people today. The goal again is 700 likes. I think we can get back to it once again. And Big T, as long as we're saying this, I'm dropping a core today, baby. I'm dropping the mofo core today. It is coming out, and I'm going to give it out, and then you can lose all your money on it. But it's I'm feeling good today, boys. So, Hoop, what's going on?
I want to welcome you to the tout world first, because you gave me like 27 winners in a row, but then Zach Moss sucked last week. So now you suck, Holden. It's just like the tout. We can give winners for like 4 straight months. You have one bad night.
Right? I mean, he got hurt, right?
I deserve it. Yeah, he had a concussion, but you know what?
Oh, he sucked plenty before he was hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot of sucking.
He just scored 2 touchdowns, but that's fine, Tony.
The best part was the Holden. He was on the winner. He was on like the 4K milli. I think Zach Moss was on the winner. So winners still win, baby.
Yeah. He gets your right build. That's what he might not be good, but he gets the build right. Hoop, what are we what do we got going on here, pal? We got a special something going on today? Talk to me.
Yeah, we got a guest hopping on at some point, as long as we get the likes heading in the right direction, which got to give the crew. I mean, the show before us, I mean, just pure dominance in the likes. I mean, 450 watching, 340 freaking. I mean, Tambo just owns the chat. You love to see it. Like, the people respond when Tambo asks, and look at these numbers. Like, man, very impressive.
He's good.
Love to see it. Those guys do a phenomenal job every morning. I roll out of bed, tune in, and they ripped me a little bit, Robbie Anderson. But I said, listen, the guy's just, I mean, complete and utter dust. Like, we're not even, we just have to talk. We have to bring up the name just to bring up the name, but that's like the end of it on the show.
No,
like,
didn't.
we're not. I know. I'm sorry.
You didn't have to bring it up.
I know. I know. I'm sorry. But that can be it, though. That can be it. We can move forward from here on. No throbby Robbie talk. You know.
The lawn looking good there, Hoop? How's the lawn?
Not anymore, because it's freaking snowing this morning, and there's a shit ton of leaves. Yeah, it's snowing here. It's awful. Yeah,
that's brutal. Big T, what's going on with you, pal? What's going on in your world, in your life? We'll get to the football stuff. We got all morning, though. Talk to me.
Yeah, it was an interesting evening and morning in the Big T household. We had our first sleepover from our 9-year-old. So there's like 15 9-year-old, 8-year-old girls painting nails and laughing. And so me and Grayson went out. We had a little fun last night, and then we came back. But a lot of too young. There's a difference, too. 2 young ladies.
Whew. I mean, how did you not just make the 4-hour trip to Hoop's basement? I mean, just
I should have.
Yeah, could have celebrated.
Me and Grayson should have came. It should have been the guys' weekend in Michigan while the girls' weekend was here.
Yeah.
Did you make a surprise appearance or anything? Scare the shit out of these girls? Do anything? No,
I'm not exactly the type to do stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm boring.
Yeah, I would love to just, if it's going to happen, I'm just going to scare the shit out of them.
And these days, parents are so like weird with sleepovers and stuff. Like, I don't want to do anything to like be the weirdo parent. Like, I just want people to know it's okay to come into our house.
No, you can't come to my house. Stay away.
It's weird times these days. Parents, like, they get nervous about leaving their kids over people's house.
Dude, I get nervous. I brought my kids to a dinosaur convention. You're going to bust my balls over this, but it was amazing. Like, I lost my daughter for 1 second. I was freaking out.
No,
she was
that's
right behind
completely
me.
different, though. Everybody freaks out about that. I don't care who you are.
That's the problem. They're so short that they could be standing right next to you. You don't see them.
It's the worst feeling in the world, too.
Literally the worst feeling. I can remember the first time it happened. I mean, obviously it's not something that happens every day, but we're at like a water park or something at the arcade, and like turn my head for a second. My daughter was 4 and she's gone. We're like, holy shit. Like that hits you fast. You're like, oh my gosh, like what in the world am I going to do? And thank God, like, you know, 2 minutes later we found her. But
exactly the same situation.
It's a long 2 minutes.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And then I got ratted out by my 3-year-old boy. So she's gone for 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, let's just act like nothing happened. Okay. My daughter's like, okay. And then I get a call. You lost our daughter. I'm like, how'd you find out? She's like, Max told us. And I'm like, come on, Max. We're the boys, man. You can't be ratting that out.
Stick with the boys.
Stick with the boys, man. It's only the 2 of us. There's nobody else. All right. So a special guest should be stopping by. We've got 700 likes on the docket. So let's do that. And of course, if you didn't see it, coming in. The DraftKings, is that a commercial or just a promo? We were wondering where Big T was one week. He was hanging out on a yacht with two of the sexiest men in the world. So I loved it. Where are we in the champions thing here? Are you close to being the GOAT? Where are we?
No, I'm nowhere. I'm nowhere near being the GOAT. I just try to grind, just like this weekend. Grind MMA, grind college football.
Yeah.
I'm a grinder. I'm not a GOAT. Hoop's more of the GOAT. Hoop dominates the 100-man, 200-man. No one's better in the world. I said it in the one of the pieces too. You'll hear me talk up Hoop being one of the best. There's so many good people. I don't know who's the best, but Hoop. I'd put Hoop up against anyone in those high stakes. Me, I'm more of a grinder for sure.
Yeah, but you don't need to, pass it along to me. I mean,
truth.
The guy coming off like the best year of DFS probably ever of anyone in the history of the DFS world, and it's the man.
No.
The man right
How do you
here.
win
Absolutely.
that, Tony? How do you win the championship?
You win the tournament is how you win the thing we're
Just keep
talking
winning.
about.
Is it just the three of you?
No, it's the fantasy football world champ. Anybody's in it. It's just
All
like
right.
the promo is us three.
Right. But they just took the three of you guys out. And
Well, they
decided
can't
to-
take 60 people, and they just took three people that people know, not because I don't know how I got in with them. I mean, someone else should have been in, but.
Hoop, what happened to you? I mean, seriously, you had another $100,000 hit. Why are you not in the tournament of
I
champions?
just told you, I answered for you, Holden.
It's
That's
for the
not what
football.
Hoop does.
It's for the-
The thing that
he's
makes
100 and 200.
This is what people don't understand, though. I gave Hoop. This is what makes me and Hoop work good together, because what he's really good at, I'm really bad at. And he's not really bad at what I'm good at, but I'm good in a different area than what he's good at. So we blend well together.
Love it.
Fill each other's weaknesses. We're like just a nice couple, where I struggle is his strengths, where he struggles, my strength. I mean, it's a match.
Except now, that's why he's the GOAT. He's branching into my area. He's friggin' taking over Showdowns now.
Showdown, yeah, the Showdown area has been pretty, has gone well. And the NFL main slates have started to turn too. So, I mean,
I feel good this week going into it. I think we turned the corner.
Dude, I want to put in like 50. This is one of the weeks I want to put in 50 lineups because I love everybody. And I made my smallest player pool that there is. I put in three lineups.
That's a good thing.
I know.
Make 50 teams with a small player pool, and then you're cooking.
Exactly. 3 lineups. No. All I got is 3 lineups. I got my guys. I love my guys. I actually looked, and a lot of us are on the same guys. Before we get into it, though, there is one thing I need to talk to you about. Big T, I want to start with you on this. The Steelers today. So we got Duck Hodges back there. We got some sleet going on. Like, is there any Steelers besides for Najee Harris?
Is Hodges starting over the other dude?
Ben?
No,
Rudolph?
Rudolph. That's what I meant. Rudolph.
Oh,
My bad.
I was going to
My
say,
bad. You're right.
I need
You're
to
right.
change
Rudolph.
some teams around.
No. I didn't change the team around. No,
the most telling thing, though, I mean, it's very simple. I mean, this is what Tony had tweeted out last night. Like, you look at the line movements for some of these quarterbacks when they get whacked out. Aaron Rodgers, 7.5 points. Who was the other big one that just happened? Like 6.5.
All of them. Every quarterback, 6-7 points.
Poor Big Ben gets rolled out, and that sucker moves a point and a half. And I'm not even convinced it should have moved that point and a half. It's pretty wild, and it is. We'll get to it when we get to the game, but okay. I don't get why people are downgrading these position players so much, but we'll talk about it when we get
okay. That's what I wanted to hear from you,
what's the difference between Big Ben and Rudolph? I mean, he's played NFL games. I mean, we'll see when we get there.
Because Rudolph goes to different guys more often, maybe?
But there's not many guys to throw to at this point.
Correct. There's Washington, Johnson, Freiermuth.
Yeah,
so we still on Freiermuth today. We did that on the cash show. We on Freiermuth.
I'm still on them.
All right, let's get into it, boys. RPS Heater 25% off your first payment of your monthly plan. And it's not just NFL. It is NFL. I mean, we're all NFL here. Plus, we got the Showdown. The NBA guys have been kicking ass. We've got winners from a whole bunch of different sports, too. So that's what we got. Myers, take that, buddy. And don't say fuck Pittsburgh. It's a wonderful town. They have pierogies. And it's the only town I've been to where you can go to a really nice restaurant and women are wearing Steelers jerseys. I swear to God, I've never seen it. There's 2 things in Pittsburgh: women without teeth and women with Steelers jerseys in the nice restaurants. And that's what I love to see. Hoop and
I like that too.
You like that too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like going to a nice restaurant. You got the servers in like a suit and tie, and
No
like,
question.
That's terrible. Like I hate that stuff. Like,
No, I like that. I don't like
me.
I like when the women dress down though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I like the nice environments, but I like the nice environments where it's more casual,
Exactly. All right. Well, guess what the first game of the day is, guys? Big T, Detroit at Pittsburgh. Thank you, Keg, on the bet side for telling me to hop on Detroit at +8.5. And then this stuff happens with Roethlisberger. So we got nasty weather, but Big T, talk to me. Obviously, Najee Harris is one of the top plays this week. Then what would we want to do at wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the spot everyone's talking about just because Big Ben, and now you got a $4,100 quarterback that, I don't usually get on low totals besides when these guys make fun of me on the Sunday show for years. But, man, you give me a 4,100 quarterback with a running back that's on the field the whole game and catches balls, and Deontay, who gets a bunch of targets. Freiermuth gets a bunch of targets, 2 touchdowns last week, maybe even 3. Did he have 3 or 2 last week? Whatever it was, he crushed.
2.
And, I mean, I don't usually – James Washington, shower narrative with Rudolph from their days in college. They definitely enjoy showers together. We like that. And, I mean, you can run it back with Swift, Hawkinson. So, they can bring the old joke back to me. I like this game. We got cheap price tags and volume. What more do you want than cheap price tags and volume?
All right. Hoop, get into this for me, buddy. It seemed like you had a pretty hard opinion. So guys like James Washington, Deontay Johnson, Freiermuth, Najee Harris, who's in, who's out in this game? And then do you want to bother with Swift today with Jamal Williams out?
Yeah, I mean, to answer the question on the Pittsburgh side, I mean, everyone I liked prior to the Big Ben news, I still like now. Like, I just don't think there's that much of a downgrade from Big Ben to Mason Rudolph. I mean, we've watched Big Ben for the last, I guess year and a half. He's dusty as all hell. And what do they call it? What's the word now everyone uses? Cheeks. He's cheeks. I like that word. Yeah, he's cheeks.
Cheeks.
Cheeks. So big cheeks too. Yeah, he's got the big cheeks. So I just don't think there's much of a difference. And you got a situation here where we're going to have a very condensed offense without Claypool in there. Freiermuth I loved. I still love Freiermuth. Deontay Johnson I like. And then James Washington I probably like more because of that shower narrative. No Claypool. He's only 3.5K on DraftKings. I think he's the best cheap wide receiver play. And then Najee Harris is going to be out there for every single meaningful snap. The spot where I do disagree though with Big T is I will not be running it back with any Lions. It's a tough spot here. I get the DeAndre Swift thing without Jamal Williams, but man, this is probably the most loaded week at running back that we've had all season long. Like, there are so many really good running back plays. I am just not going to play a running back with a team total of 17. So love the Pittsburgh side still, despite Big Ben being out, but I won't be running it back on the Lions side. And the one thing to touched on a little bit is there is weather here. It's going to be snowy, cold, and nasty. But I'm not really taking that into account when I'm looking at my Pittsburgh guys.
I mean, you got a backup quarterback today who gets beaten up a lot. Is this the day Detroit finally wins a game? Probably not. Okay, so like button. We're trying to get to 700 again. We do have a special guest coming on.
Detroit could definitely win this game for the record.
Yeah, they could.
Pittsburgh sucks. They're awful.
Okay. Could you imagine that?
I think they have a chance to play better today without Big. I honestly do. But
I
do
agree
with you.
They can't play worse. I mean, Big Ben has been so bad.
Yeah, I do agree though. I think I'm the number one Lions hater for sure, but they're probably live in this game. I mean, you got the weather element. You got obviously it's not ideal when your starting quarterback gets ruled out the night before. I don't think it's going to play a factor. I thought the Lions were kind of live even with Big Ben in there, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. My favorite part of that conversation was shower narrative. Can you imagine someone that has never seen this show and they just walk in and you're talking about shower narrative and they have no idea what the fuck?
Got to break them out the right way.
Guys.
That's how we do.
If the guys took showers together back in college, that's the shower narrative, right?
And they liked it.
Yeah, and they, hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. More pleasure That's all I got to say. Washington and Tampa Bay. Nobody's talking up Tom Brady, or am I just not listening to the right people this week? Because they are in a spot where they can just destroy Washington today. I know that Godwin's probably playing, but he's going to be limited to say the least. So is it Mike Evans, Tyler Johnson? What's your thoughts on Evans, and who's the secondary pass catcher you're going to if you're stacking Brady today?
Yeah, I still think Godwin is in play. I mean, Evans is obviously the main guy, but yeah, I mean, there is probably some concern. Maybe I'm not, putting enough value on the Godwin thing. They do desperately need him, so maybe they are kind of pushing along. The report on Friday was truly a game time decision. So yeah, maybe I should downgrade Godwin a little bit, but Evans is the clear play here. He'll be highly owned. Tom Brady's just passing so much. And the one thing that I'm really looking at with this Tampa Bay Bucs side is what we saw a few weeks ago against the Bears. They're up by like 30 something, and Brady was still in there in the fourth quarter passing the football. He's clearly going for some sort of TD thing or going for the MVP. He's now the favorite to win the MVP award this season in the betting market. So he's going to continue to put the pressure on from a passing standpoint. Love Evans. Yeah, but Brady is going to get lost in the shuffle in terms of DFS today because we have Josh Allen at the top that a lot of people will be going to. Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert. I think Brady comes in lower owned than all those guys. A lot of people will be on Evans, but not a lot of people will be on Brady. Leonard Fournette, I think, is a phenomenal running back play. I don't think he's going to get much ownership today. We have the two cheap running backs that are going to soak up so much ownership at the position. We have multiple high-end guys that are in really, really good spots. Fournette could get lost in the shuffle. He has pass catching upside. He has multiple touchdown upside. If I was MMEing, I'd definitely have some Fournette in my player pool, especially if you think Godwin's a little bit dinged up today. But it's a really good spot here for the Bucs. I think they obviously just roll here against Washington. Another situation, though, where I'm going to be high in the Bucs, but I'm not really going to be playing any run backs on the football team side. There's just not much upside. We have a very loaded slate in terms of fantasy options today. I just don't want to be on these crappy teams today. So
you're going to shit on my play then. I love it.
That's all right. Well, I mean,
my favorite play of the week's in this game too. I hope it's the same guy Holden likes.
Hey, the one thing you guys should know about Hoop is I'm very, what's the word? Impressionable. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, I mean, I'll switch. I mean, I have no problem switching on the fly. So maybe you guys can convince me on something.
God, I hope Holden's guy's my same guy.
Is he a running back?
No.
All right. Yeah, it's the wrong guy, buddy. Sorry.
Definitely not a running back.
What do you got? Who's your guy?
My guy's Terry McLaurin. I've been waiting for a good receiver. I've been waiting for a receiver against Tampa that is a premier receiver. Yeah. I haven't seen one yet, and today's that day. Mr. McLaurin is going to nuke this Tampa team, and it's perfect because Tampa always scores. You're going to be playing behind more than likely. Perfect run back if you like Tampa. You don't have to. I always run it back. You'll never see me with a team without a run. I mean, the only exception would be like a true runner like Lamar or something, and just a weird spot. But I'm always going to run it back in a Brady team like that. And McLaurin, I can't wait to play him today because no one's going to have him, and he's going to nuke the slate. So who do you like, Holden?
What's he going to be, 5-6% owned today?
I mean, less than that probably. No, the only people playing him are probably people playing Tampa. So I like him even more in teams without Tampa because literally no one's going to play him in a team without Tampa, guys.
Guys, first of all, Hoop Fournette thing, that's the one guy I had to leave out that I love. I absolutely fucking
that
love
was your guy?
No.
Uncle Lenny?
Even worse. No, I don't have any
Lenny. Who's worse? You got another running back in this game?
McKissick. Oh. I know. He's going to get you 8 catches for 50 yards, maybe get in the box. Going to be great. McKissick's my guy today. I like him. I do. I think this is a McKissick week. I was talking to my guys that cover the team. They're like, listen, dude, he's gonna be heavily involved in this. They also brought up McLaurin, though. They brought up McLaurin a lot. So look at the disgust on Tony's face after hearing.
I mean, if you get the perfect script, he's going to cry. The only thing I hate about McKissick is like if somehow they're up in the game, even at the beginning, he just gets no work. I hate that. Yeah. But I mean, I like Swift in the same spot. Like I don't like Swift if they're winning. So I guess it's the same play as that.
The problem is with these guys at the running back position, like so many strong plays. So like a fringe guy like that is going to have to put up like a huge score. There's going to be huge scores.
If he gets me 20, if he gets me 20 at 5K or whatever the fuck he is,
yeah, I mean,
that's not enough.
Could be, but man, running back is loaded today. Like running back is just so low. There's going to be 30-point games for sure at the running back position, I feel.
Yeah, and I think you can get 2 of them in there and shove this guy in there too.
Yeah. I'm not going. Hey, listen. I am not questioning your calls. I mean, you've been on.
Well, I don't know. Now I'm questioning myself. Now Now I'm.
Don't let me. Explain.
You're impressionable.
No.
I'm impressionable. RPS Heater 25% off your first payment of a monthly plan. We got everything here. Hoop has his playbook. Big T has his cores. I'm going to be doing the Up to Lock show with JSU, and JSU is throwing his stuff out. And the awesome thing about this, not only you get these guys cores, like you only have to fill in 3 guys or so, you get the whole freaking player pool, like Hoop's playbook, the whole thing. Tony, every single player that's in his player pool, you know which one it is. You can put the pieces in. JSU, all these guys, AP. So that's just for the NFL too. The NBA is out here. We got so much. Oh, let me give a shout out to Stevie real quick, who does like to shame me because I love the NFL more than anything in the world, and that still bothers me. But Stevie's doing a great job on the college basketball DFS stuff too. So if you're into college hoops like I am, I know, Tony, you play some hoop. Maybe you'll get in there in the tournament or something, but boy, I love college hoops, and Stevie's doing a good job there. So you got a shout out there, Stevie. Tony, Buffalo and the Jets. Do you think people are just off of Josh Allen after these last 2 weeks? Because if they are, I kind of want to have a lineup. They're still
people aren't off Josh Allen. But quarterback, we say it every week. It's so spread out. I mean, 10, 15%, all these guys. I mean, I assume Josh Allen, Dak, 15% tops. So I don't know. Yeah, Josh Allen is right back in play like he always is. They need a big game too. So I don't usually like these spots, especially on the road. But coming off a couple tough games, you can definitely go to Josh Allen today. And the thing I like is you got weapons that you can double stack with him. I mean, you got obviously Diggs, who still hasn't had a blow-up game, but then Beasley, Manny Sanders. We got Dawson Knox back today, who was really maybe his preferred target early in the season before the injury. So, yeah, you can definitely go there. And, again, the Jets, kind of the theme of the week, at least these first 3 games, where if you like it, I definitely think it's a more complicated run back because the other team sucks. But, like, guys like Crowder at 4,800, Elijah Moore, 4,700, even like Hoop keeps saying with the running back, I'll probably won't do Michael Carter just because of the position. He's treated me good this year, though. I mean, he's crushed a few times we were on him. But this week, I'm not going to run it back with Michael Carter. I'd rather just play Crowder or Elijah Moore at a cheap price tag. Not even Corey. I'm just not a Corey Davis guy. I'd rather play Crowder or Elijah Moore. But, yeah, Buffalo, no issue whatsoever if you go Buffalo today.
Okay. What do you got here, Hoop, on the Buffalo side? And then the Jets, I mean, I'm glad you brought up Michael Carter. I love Michael Carter all year. I just don't know if maybe he gets 30 catches. That's the way he gets it. That's about it.
He could definitely get there still for sure.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And especially if just there's a cheapy touchdown or something. He's just so talented. I love him. Hoop, what do you want to do with this game? Jets and Bills.
Yeah, I think probably more cash game plays on the Buffalo side. Like Josh Allen's fine. I mean, we have endless value, especially, with these cheap running backs. You can get to Josh Allen very easily. Probably the safest play in terms of like raw fantasy points at the position. I think he's a good cash game play. I think Diggs is fine in tournaments. Not too much more. Like I'm not going to be on the Jets today and another team, a low team total. I just don't think we need to go there with so many like really, really good spots. For me, it's going to be like Josh Allen, cash game quarterback for sure. You can get there easily with all the value that we have. Diggs, I mean, we've been saying it all season. He's going to have like one of these explosive games. So I don't mind Diggs in tournaments, but I don't think I'm going to really go to like Emmanuel Sanders or Cole Beasley. They have Knox back. That takes away from some of those guys, obviously. Just not a great game for me overall. Josh Allen in cash games, I think, is totally fine, though.
Okay, guys.
It's funny though, right?
Yeah.
How we do this every year in football. I do it. Hoop does it. Everyone does it. Where we just keep saying like Diggs is going to explode this week. Diggs is good. It happens every year.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know what? By week 10, they just don't ever get there.
Yeah.
Like we keep thinking they're going to. But Josh Allen just likes to spread it around so much and run too that maybe last year was more on the fluky side where he just crushed so much.
True.
And this is more of the new reality where there's just a lot of weapons. And I've played Diggs every freaking week. I'm still going to probably play him a little bit every week. But, man, we might just be seeing the new normal for him.
Let's see. I'm just looking through some TD props here while we're talking, trying to dig up another interesting one. And I don't know why Hayden Hurst just popped, but I cannot play Hayden. What the fuck is that?
Hayden Hurst? What, did someone get rolled out or something?
That is disgusting. No, and I don't even know why he popped on that. That's gross. Like you say, projections though. Projections can often be wrong, and you want to get off of those. Like button, we need 700. We're only at 428. I mean, look, dude, Tambo just gets everybody on board. We're up to, almost 300. And then you guys are coming in here with our special guest coming on today. Are you kidding me? We got a special guest today, Big T.
You guys keep talking up a special guest, but I'm not sure it's going to happen.
Oh, really? Really? Okay.
We haven't heard back yet. So
you're shitting me. Really?
Not saying it's not going to happen. It could still happen. I'm just saying you're starting to overpromise. I don't know if we need to underpromise, over-deliver.
Special guest will be on. We have time where I have confidence that we'll get the
special guest.
We might get it done. I'm just
all right. We're not even going to consider it.
We need to get a plan B in case our number one special guest doesn't come on.
Oh, Sunday mornings and plan B. So let's continue. Let's continue here as we go on. Oh, this is juicy hoop. Atlanta and Dallas. Let's go. Zeke has everybody I feel like is in play in this game. Zeke and Patterson on one side. Cooper, Lamb. If you really want to go with Russell Gage, by all means. Schultz and Pitts. Dak Prescott. I mean, come on. This is juicy, man. Give me a couple plays from this game.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Dallas and it's not a hot take or anything, to bounce back here. I mean, they looked like complete dog shit last week against the Broncos. Embarrassing loss. They should have easily won that. I mean, they got smoked. Now you get Jerry Jones involved, saying they're not going to overlook this Falcons team. They're focused this week. I think Dallas just comes out and just nukes this Falcons team.
Really?
From a fantasy perspective, that means you can play a lot of guys. I love Dak. I think Zeke will probably be overlooked because of all these running backs that we have. Definitely a guy I want in my player pool. His big games come in these spots where they're favored by more than a touchdown. The wide receivers, I think I'll have them all in my MME player pool, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. And then they get Gallup back as well at 4K. And it's part of the reason I like Dak so much. I mean, he's going to have his full complement of weapons here. Just everything lines up for just an explosion spot here for the Cowboys. I want exposure to all pieces of their offense. On the Falcons side, the only guy I'm probably going to play today is going to be Kyle Pitts. And I'm not going to have a ton of them. Like, I just want some exposure to him just because I know I'm going to be super high on the Cowboys. So Pitts is definitely in the player pool at tight end. Tight end is very weak. I still prefer to go cheaper than Pitts. But for tournaments, I think you keep them in the player pool. Outside of that, not much more on the Falcons, but really like the Cowboys here.
What are you thinking here, Tony? What are you thinking with this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the top stack type game of the day. I mean, everyone likes Dallas. I like Dallas. They sucked last week versus Denver, and now they get the cupcake matchup versus Atlanta. Everything should point towards a big day. I'll definitely have some. My only issue with Dallas is they're almost too deep now. For tournament players like myself, when I play Dak, some of these spots that we'll get to, like I know where the targets are going. Here, I mean, yeah, when you're playing 150, it's easy. You can spread it around, which is what I'll do. But if you're playing like one team, man, it's hard. It's frustrating too because you could stack them up and Zeke gets the touchdowns. You could play the Zeke side, and then Dak throws to these guys three different. There's so many ways that like they could score 40 and have no one crush. It is the hard part. But the good thing is they're probably going to score 40 today, which you just have to play the roulette wheel a little bit and just hope you don't get unlucky, because one or two of these guys will bust for sure. One or two will probably crush for sure. So you just have to hope you get lucky in that aspect. I like CD the most always. It's funny how these teams with lots of weapons, you kind of just go one direction or the other, like in Seattle where we said we're going with DK all year. I just always go with CD over Amari Cooper. Treats me well half the time, treats me bad the other half, but as long as you just ride it out, it eliminates some of those decisions where, like, if you try to flip a coin every week, you might as well take the same side, right? Like, you don't go heads one week, tails the next. Just freaking pick one of them and go with it. So I like CD. I don't mind Gallup as a number 2. Dalton Schultz at a weak tight end. I don't mind that. I'm with Hoop though. My only run back is Kyle Pitts. It's nice this week too, because a lot of these stacks that I'm on, I only have one true run back. So it makes it easy when I'm building my teams. Just any Dallas stack, I just play Kyle Pitts in that team. And even if I played Dalton Schultz, I'd still run it back with 2 tight ends and play Pitts. So that's where I'm at. This isn't my favorite spot, just because I do think there will be a lot of ownership on these receivers and stuff. And like I said, the roulette wheel, but it's a good spot. Wouldn't be surprised at all if it ends up the winner. Why do people, the only thing worse too in the chat is I hate my birthday to begin with, but now everyone's telling me happy birthday for some reason. Like, well, where did that even come from? I've seen like 10 people in there say happy birthday, Big T. It's not my freaking birthday.
They do that. They do that to me sometimes.
Oh,
I don't
they do
get
that?
it.
That's like the
That's a
run
thing. Yeah,
I've
that's a
never
thing.
seen
They're
that
like,
before.
happy birthday. I think, I don't know. Maybe it's a
I hate my
one
normal
person
birthday,
says
let
it.
alone when it's not my birthday.
Yeah, then one person says it, and they're like, I better say happy birthday.
Hey, happy
And then
birthday. Yeah, way to go. Yeah. Amazing. Like button. Let's get to 500 here, guys. We've been doing the show for free for you. Plus, we got a special guest coming on. We'll give more winners. It's good for the mojo, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how
I'm starting to side with Big T here. Special guest. It might not be going down.
Oh, no. Why?
I got a text after I said it.
All right. Special guest is going down.
No, I didn't say that. I don't know yet.
This is so ridiculous.
Yeah, this is brutal.
I just said I got a response.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to look and you got to say, you know what? This is a golden opportunity for me to come on a show where people actually watch it. Some wonderful gentlemen that are very respectful. And, just if it doesn't happen, it's going to be very disappointing. I'll say that. Okay.
Agree.
Very, very disappointment. And as the RPS guys like to say, hurtful.
Yeah, it's very hurtful.
Yes. It is my birthday too. Yes. Thank you very much, Randy. Appreciate that.
Big T and Holden happen to have the same birthday, and pretty wild. My birthday's tomorrow too. I mean,
wow. Happy birthday to you too.
Yeah,
I'm
crazy
50 today. So thanks guys. 50th birthday for me.
You better get an invite to your Holden's 50th. I'll tell you that much.
It's only 2.5 years, buddy.
All right.
3.
I can't wait.
Closer to 3. Yeah.
Put it on my calendar.
That'll be an interesting one. No doubt about it. Okay. New Orleans, Tennessee is our next game. Tony, what do we got here? Can we dig anything up? I know we hear about who is that? Deontay Harris. AJ Brown's been going absolutely bananas lately. I don't see too much. Those are the two guys that kind of stand out to me. And then, of course, the Titans defense on DK is 2.6K. Anything else you like here? Do you like anything in this game?
It's a tough game. I mean, I was hoping all week that they'd freaking rule Taysom, my boy, the starter, because it's a good spot if they had him, but it's just not happening. They don't want to use him in that role, I guess, which makes it even more shocking. Last year, I made all those bets that there's no way they'd start him over Jameis, and then they did, which I couldn't believe. And then now they go the opposite way, and they're starting this dump truck over him. So I don't get it. But no, this game. So Mark Ingram's getting a bunch of talk. But the thing I can't figure out, is he really going to be that high owned? Just because people don't want to play two cheap running backs. So they almost have to play just one of them between D'Ernest and him. But Hoop's going to have to talk for a minute. I got too much going here.
All right, Hoop, talk for a minute. There must be some top secret information coming across from our special guest. What's up, Hoop?
I think Ingram will have the high ownership. I think people are going to say, hey, I can just play these two cheap running backs that are probably going to get all the work, Johnson and Ingram, and then I can just fill out my lineup with whatever else I want, because really when you plug in those two guys, everything else kind of fits. Whatever you want to do works. So I do think Ingram, I do think Johnson are going to be very highly owned just for that reason, because of what it can do for the rest of your lineups. That's why, for me personally, if you're playing tournaments, I'd be looking to get in that top tier of the running back position, because those guys could just end this slate. Najee Harris could end the slate. Jonathan Taylor could end the slate. Like, those guys are in really, really good spots. Eckler, again, he has massive upside, should come in lower owned because people are jamming these two cheap running backs, which they're really good plays. I mean, there's no two ways around it. Mark Ingram has been in this role before, and he tends to crush. Johnson, been in a lead back role with all the work, and he's crushed. So tough to avoid him, but it really gives you good opportunity in tournaments just to pivot to some of the higher end running backs. And then on the Titans side, I mean, the only guy I'd be willing to play at this point would be A.J. Brown. I think he's a phenomenal play today. I think he's a really, really good play, actually. A lot of people just go to Devontae Adams, who is in a really good spot, obviously. There's some other, Mike Evans is going to be much higher owned. Leaving A.J. Brown, I think, a little bit on the lower owned side, and he's a guy that could end this slate. I mean, if somehow the Titans are playing from behind, which they're 3-point favorites, it could happen. If they're playing from behind, A.J. Brown's going to smash. So love AJ Brown in tournaments. Mark Ingram is obviously a very solid running back play this week.
AJ Brown looking good. All right, Tony, are you okay? Are you back? Or is there some top secret stuff going down?
Not top secret. I got like 15 kids leaving like 10 feet from me. So there's going to be steady noise for the next like 5 minutes.
Can't hear it. Can't hear it. Seriously.
Because I keep muting it.
Oh.
It's literally loud as can be. But I'll do my best for the next 5 minutes.
Please do. What do we got? Tennessee.
I mean, Tennessee. I don't love a ton in this game. I mean, Ingram, I'm even a little cautious of Ingram. I mean, he's older. Tennessee's defense has been good too. Like, how many times have they beat us in a row? I don't know. Like Hoop said, I'm leaning towards that almost. There's so many good running backs. Yeah, I know the prices are different. Like, obviously, Mark Ingram's a different price than Dalvin Cook. But, like, it's still a position, and we can get cheap in different spots. Am I really playing Mark Ingram over Dalvin Cook and Zeke and these guys? Maybe, but am I playing him over Dearness too? I don't know. I might just stay away from this spot. I could see this game being like very, very low scoring too. New Orleans defense is good. Tennessee's defense is better than we think. I don't know. Mark Ingram or nothing for me here though. I wanted to play Deontay all week. Don't think I'm going to. I wanted Taysom to be in there. I have a feeling Taysom's going to throw him. I wish Taysom was a tight end in 2,500 when he's not quarterback, because I'd play him. He's going to throw a touchdown today to Deontay.
All right, Deontay from.
You can't use him though. Like, when he's not a quarterback, he should be a friggin' tight end.
So coming up next, guys, for the premium subscribers, we got JSU up to lock. JJ from the bet side stops by, giving some more winners. He's been on fire, and I'll be hosting that show. So make sure you stick around for that if you're not a subscriber. RPS Heater 25% off your first payment on a monthly installment. And I keep telling you so many times, it's it's like guys shower together. You don't get that information anywhere else. Just amazing things going on here at Runpure. So Jacksonville and Indy, Hoop, I'm sorry I can't go to you first on this one, pal. Just Jacksonville and Indy, Tony. I know you got 15 screaming girls with nail polish out there, but you got to fight through it and give us the breakdown.
I mean, as a seasoned host like yourself, when I say 5 minutes, you don't even go to Hoop first for a game?
It's Carson fucking Wentz.
I said I got like a couple minutes here. You don't even give Hoop the first.
All right, you know what, Hoop? We're coming back to this game.
I gotta take hold inside here. I mean, we're going to an Indianapolis Colts game. I mean, we're going to the freaking Colts here. How the hell is Holden supposed to throw it to me? The guy you've been jerking off to.
I told him
you've been jerking off to for the last 5 years of your life.
Yes.
Like, literally.
Yes.
Full peel to this guy.
Correct.
And he's supposed to throw it to me?
Yeah. I mean,
but I will take control. I will take this game. Give me this Colts game.
Thank you. Right? Why don't you take this game like a real analyst?
So we talked about it with the cheap running backs. I mean, these guys are going to be super high on Johnson and Ingram. It's going to leave a guy like Jonathan Taylor lower owned than he should be. I'm not going to say Taylor's going to be low owned, but way lower owned than he should be in probably the best spot that he's going to have all season. He's getting all the work here. They're at home. They're facing this crappy Jaguars team. I think he is just a phenomenal play today. And like I said, he's going to come in much lower owned than he should be. It's just an absolute smash spot here. 10-point favorites at home. Second guy in this game that I like a ton, Michael Pittman. I mean, what he's done this season, very impressive. Kind of, to me, I think he's almost saved Carson Wentz's season. I know Big T will probably say other way around, but I think Michael Pittman has saved the season for Wentz, and he's just going to Pittman very often, and Pittman's making just some phenomenal plays for Wentz. So love Pittman here, 6.3K. We know where the ownership's going on this slate. Like, we know the guys that are going to be very popular at wide receiver. Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, going to get a ton of ownership. Again, it's going to leave a guy like Pittman lower owned than he should be. I'm not saying Pittman's going to be like a low owned 3% option, but he should be pretty highly owned, I think, in this spot at home. They're projected to score right around 30 points. Those other guys' popularity, those other guys' ownership is going to keep the ownership on a guy like Pittman in check, which I know, I mean, Big T is probably just like full circle jerk to this situation here because he's going to get his boys at low ownership. So love Pittman. Same theme though for me with these crappy teams. Like, there's so many good spots, so many good teams on the slate. I'm not forcing anything in with these crap teams, so no Jaguars for me. But love Taylor and really like Pittman too. Okay, Big T, are you ready, or should I just go back to Hoop for the next game and I'll come back to you at the end?
I think it is. If it's a little quieter, we might have lost like half of them by now.
Thank God.
But no, this spot, it's just such a good spot. And what I like about Indy is you can play Wentz, Taylor, and Pittman together even, and you get all the offense. I mean, yeah, one of these other guys might vulture a little bit, but you're getting a large majority of the offense against Jacksonville, who is coming off a big win. That was last week, right? When they got the big win, correct? Yeah, coming off that big win, letdown spot. Indy, I'm going to keep saying it, and I know people say I'm a homer. I get it. I'd say the same thing to myself. I think they're a contender in the AFC. I really do. I think they're set up well. I like them. I like everything. Their line's getting healthy on both sides. I love this spot today. It's just an easy stack. Wentz, Taylor, Pittman. You can run it back with Dan Arnold, who's been really good at 3,500. He's got 7 targets, 10, 5, and 8 since he came to the team. I mean, that to me is a solid high floor tight end play and perfect run back. So I'd go there. You can throw some of these other dudes in there too. You talk about an easy stack. I mean, there's going to be no easier stack than me stacking Big T giblets if the Colts make the playoffs. I hope to God they get in.
I hope they do too. I'll give them Big T jibbies. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. They're the team you don't want to see in the postseason too. That's the easy. That's going to be the easiest really, stack. The team. Boom, boom. Okay. Can't wait to stack those. Yeah. All right. Money but then the best part about Big T, it's going to be if they make it and they lose in the first round, he makes that pivot to his second team and third team and fourth team. So, I mean, there's just endless opportunities with Big T once the playoffs start. It's great. A good joke. Great. Big T in the playoffs. No better time. I can already hear the speech you guys are going to be like, oh, and Big T, he was right. I can't believe it. Oh, God. No.
For what? MVP or playoffs?
I mean, obviously, he's already moved on from the MVP thing. Yeah. Like he's already moved on. So he makes those comments. I mean, my 50-1 bet. I can't believe my 50-1 bet lost, Holden. Yeah. I mean, it's shocking.
Well, you owe me another 100. It's great. I just love beating people that are so sharp because then I just never let them catch up to me.
100. What odds did you give me?
No, we just $100 straight up. I was like, that's the dumbest bet I've ever. I said, that's the dumbest bet I've ever heard in my life. And you're like, put some money up. And I'm like, fine, my unit's $100. And you said, okay. That was it.
For what though?
for Carson Wentz MVP.
Just even 100 for 100.
Yeah. You just
just bet 100.
Yeah, we did. We did. I don't have the tape, but I know it happened. I'm gonna be very.
We just bet 100 for 100.
I'll send you a care package and just send me the money.
Yeah, well, then you're gonna make me like hop on Big T's side here, and I don't want to. So
Why?
let's just
100 for 100 MVP.
Yes.
I know Big T. The first thing he's saying is, "All right, I'm betting the guy 50-1. I'm not taking even money."
He didn't do it till afterwards. He bet it afterwards. I'm like, this is the dumbest bet you're ever going to make. And he's like, then put your money where your mouth is. I said, all right, just $100. And he said, okay.
I mean, that probably happened, but you weren't going to give me no 5,000 when they lost or when it won.
Yeah. Yeah, but it wasn't going to win. That was the whole point.
You're trying to, this is a free roll bet for you, though. You're trying to free roll me for 100 because there's no way I was getting 5,000 if I won.
Tyler goes, Hoop's face when Big T said the Colts are a contender in the AFC.
There's nothing I enjoy more in life than when I see that Hoop face like that. You can inject it in my veins when he gives me that face.
You're gonna see that exact face every single time you talk about it. I mean, they're not contending for shit.
Hoop's got Tampa versus friggin' Buffalo, and I got the Colts.
What?
Who are you picking?
To win?
Tampa versus Buffalo?
Oh, I already know. I mean, even worse, you're probably will make fun of me even more, but I'm in the Rams, man. You know that. I've been on the Rams all season.
The Rams are my pick.
Yeah, the Rams are
my pick. The Rams are everybody's pick.
Yeah, but I mean,
now they're everybody's pick. They weren't everybody's
all our
pick.
picks preseason. Even G. Riley was on with us.
They got bailed out though because the Beckham thing is like a bad pickup. Like having Woods and Cup there, like them going for Beckham, he's not good anymore. Like he sucks. I don't see the need for them. Well, now Woods goes out and they get just the full bailout. It's wild, but it just seems like a team of destiny. So I'm heavily invested in the Rams to win it, and the Colts definitely not.
The best part about this is like Carson Wentz isn't even top 3 MVP on the Colts. So that's my favorite part about this. It's like Taylor, Pittman, somebody else, I'm sure. Hit the like button, people. Come on.
You're telling me right now, this is how stupid that statement is. So if Wentz was out, they wouldn't have lost any extra games.
You know what? Let's do this. Let's add another 100 to it. Jonathan Taylor gets more MVP votes than Carson Wentz.
Hey, we just got put in our place. Chris Dunlap says, "Can we get back to business, boys? A lot of side talk. Not going to lie."
There's always the one guy that
have you ever
comes
been
in.
here?
Must be new. Hey, yeah, are you new here?
Hello. I mean, welcome to the world, buddy. This is the world we live in. It's the world we live in.
There's nothing better than hopping in the YouTube on the free show and saying we need to get back to business.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. It never gets old.
No, never gets old.
And I do know, yes, I understand Woods is out for the season. I'm saying that's why they got bailed out with that pickup because then he gets hurt and now they have another wide receiver. But yeah, anyhow,
no doubt about it.
We gotta get back to business, boys. We gotta refocus.
All right. We really don't. We're doing a fine job, but since you want to, fine. Why don't you take Cleveland and New England for us? And Dearness Johnson, Ramondre Stevenson. You want you want a little Ramondre today who's going to get some work and some action out of the backfield. My boy Donovan Peoples-Jones. I can't get enough of this guy. Here's my question for you, Hoop. I don't think there's many points in this game. I bet the under. So is it just stupid to have Dearness Johnson and Donovan Peoples-Jones in the same lineup?
Not necessarily, just because they're both cheap and decent values. I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones in tournaments, I think, makes a ton of sense. I mean, you get the big play upside, obviously. He's had a lot of big plays this season. Going to be probably, I'm assuming, really, really low owned, so don't hate that. But obviously the talk here is going to be Dearness Johnson with no Chubb. Bennett, he was in this role earlier on in the season, smashed. They're willing to give him all the work, and he's been solid. So he's going to be very highly owned today. I think it's a situation where you just kind of eat the chalk, as people say, and move on. I mean, just a strong option. I don't hate Jarvis Landry either. If they are playing from behind at all, he should get fed a decent chunk of targets. So Landry, Peoples-Jones in tournaments makes sense. On the Patriots side, probably going to be off the Patriots. I do, understand with Harris that there's going to be some opportunities, but I really see them kind of spreading it amongst like a few different guys. Whereas with Dearness Johnson. We know he's going to be out there and getting like all the work. Mark Ingram most likely to get all the work with, Ramondre Stevenson. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Won't be playing him. We've got to see what Big T's doing with Jacoby Myers. The streak continues on with no touchdowns.
As great a player as you are, you just keep bringing up the shittiest fucking guys every week.
I didn't say I'm playing
Robbie Anderson. Now this one, it's just
the best time you've ever got on Hoop. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. How can you be so great at what you do yet still get shares of the shittiest players on a slate?
First off, did I say I'm playing Jacoby Myers? Can we rewind the tape? I said I want to get Big T's opinion on Jacoby Myers. This is Big T's guy. The Robbie Anderson thing, we can also go back, and I haven't played Robbie Anderson in like 6 weeks.
Get the fuck out! You're just talking about him on the cash show 2 weeks
Hey, you
ago.
want to audit my lineups? If you want to audit my lineups, I'll send you my
maybe not played, but talked on this show.
I'll send you my it's just an ongoing joke at this point. Like, I'm not clicking Robbie Anderson.
Like week 7, he was the freaking
money
play of the week.
He was in your cores. He was in your cores. The last time anyone on the show played Robbie Anderson, it was when he was a part of Big T's freaking cores. All right, not
the only week I played him.
Robbie Anderson hasn't been the player of the week in like 5 weeks, and I'm proud of it because I pivoted.
I got over.
All right.
So which shitty player are we on today? Jacoby Myers. Okay, yeah. Let's keep going back to him.
Again,
sets the record for not scoring a touchdown.
I said
nothing to it.
Nothing to it. I said we got to get Big T's opinion because my Robbie Anderson is Big T's Jacoby Myers. All right, so we need to see what Big T.
Oh, Big T, you're not playing. You're not playing positive regression. Positive regression.
Don't you
get it on fire this morning?
I said Big T's opinion. I never said I'm playing
Big
Jacoby.
T. Hold on, Big T. You're not out of this. Don't you tell me you're going back to fucking Jacoby Myers because that's the end of it.
Yes, thank you. That's
Please
I just
no.
like this version of Holden. You got a little swag going today. You're chirping it up. You took down freaking Mikey in the head-to-head. Now you think you're all the way up the ladder now.
All the way up. Dropping cores today. Hit the
cores
all
playing
night.
50 teams.
Huh?
I like this.
You were playing 50
Holden,
teams, I thought.
Came at the wrong person.
No, I said I'm playing. I'm having 3 teams. 3. Well, no, because you guys have trigger words. Trigger words. Robbie Anderson, Jacoby Myers. I'm sure there's somebody out there that just. I get crazy with these guys. So whatever. Are you done with this game?
I've moved on from Robbie. We just need to see if Big T has moved on from Jacoby.
What are you doing with Jacoby Myers, who set a record for not scoring touchdowns?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not playing him.
Thank God.
Oh, there we go. So we can.
Well, no, that was Hoop. You're trying to deflect Robbie Anderson onto him.
Exactly.
I haven't played Robbie in at least 5 weeks. Okay. I promise I need to go back to that
7 a minute ago.
Rich parents play of the week 8.
By the time we get to the end of the show, I'm going to say, well, I did sneak him into like 2 or 3 last week, but next week. Listen, I haven't played him in like 5 weeks. I'm proud of myself. I appreciate some more support instead of the bashing that I'm getting here. All right. I'm good. If you guys want to make a pack, we don't bring up Robbie. We don't bring up Jacoby Myers.
Deal.
I'm fine with that. Every show we come on, though, that's the opening line. Like,
you keep bringing them up. There's one person that brings up Robbie Anderson and Jacoby Myers. I didn't. Tony wasn't going to talk about him. You did.
It's Hoop's fault.
Not in regards to playing the guy. Okay, I'm not bringing up like, hey, I'm putting my core out today for tournaments. First guy I'm clicking on is Robbie Anderson.
Let's put him in the graveyard.
XFL quarterback throwing him the ball, and Cam Newton's throwing him the ball next week.
I'm digging. Here we go. First guy in the grave, Robbie. Pour dirt on him. Here, I'm going to dig another one.
Holden is on fire. He's got the whole motions going. Even.
Jacoby Myers, get the fuck out of here. You're going in the grave. You guys are done.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right.
Good.
I love you. You're still my favorite. Okay, Big T, anything else?
I mean, Ernest, obviously, you can send the Ernest goes to jail gifts after he scores a freaking touchdown. I like the defense with it, too. No one's going to play the Browns D. They looked way better last week. They're starting to get healthy. And New England, this is the type of D that no one's going to play, and it's perfect pairing if you play Ernest. So I like Cleveland as a sneaky D.
Yeah, you're right, Big T winners. He went from 7 to 6 to 5 weeks. Absolutely. And it's actually been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks, exactly.
RPS.
I mean, did you not just do the digging thing? Like you just dug the grave and then said,
now I'm back on hoop side.
Yeah, so what did you get the shovel back out and like you're
right back to it?
I can't win. I can't win with you guys.
You
Amazing.
just
Hit the like
shovel
button
and buried it, and now you're back at it. So I guess it's free game to talk about.
God damn it, Hoop! Would you stop it? Hit the like button. 520. Where else are you going to get this on a Sunday morning when you're trying to win money? You're not. You're not going to get it anywhere else. RPS Heater 25. Go in the Discord. Just wait till you see the Discord. You think this is some funny shit? Oh my God. Anything in the Discord last night, Big T? Anybody flipping out after tip off of an NBA game? Did you see anything in there?
Oh, dude, I say it were you talking about the Discord?
Yeah.
There's nothing. I'm in the Discord a bunch all week,
yeah,
and I talk a ton in there. Everyone knows this. I hate the NBA Discord, though. Like, I can't go in there. It ruins my night. People are victory lapping 5 minutes in because their dude's got 8 fantasy points. People are the night's over because their dude has 2 fouls. The person comes in every time and says, "Is my guy hurt?" Just because he doesn't have a fantasy point in that time frame. Always "Is he hurt?" Oh, I stay as far away as possible from the NBA chat. I literally hate it.
We got another. Hey, Holden. I'm sorry. We got another enforcer. Nick Patel says, "Holden, stay on topic, brother.
Yeah.
We're trying to win a milli."
Yeah. Thanks, producer Nick. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I'll take you seriously. Stay on topic. You're going to make me talk about other things like freaking dingleberries and stuff. Settle down, Nick. You don't need to tell me what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. All right, Big T.
Stay on topic, brother.
Yeah, stay on topic. By the way, 600 likes and you don't have to listen to my core. 600 likes, you don't have to listen to my core. Tony, what do we want to do here with this Carolina? Any CMC on the radar today? And then on the other side, Arizona. We don't even know if Kyler's playing in this game. And even if he does, I'm not playing a less than 90% Kyler Murray. So is there anything here? Maybe a ton of James Conner or people going back to him? Because they run even in a neutral game script.
Yeah, I mean, Connor's really the play for me. I don't think Kyler plays. I mean, it seems like the same spot as last week. And there's just really no reason to push him. I just if he's not ready, they're not going to bring him back. I wouldn't play him even if he was in, though, so it doesn't really impact that much for me as far as I guess I would like James Conner more if he was out.
You know what, Tony? Albert Breer just heard, he goes, same as last week, Kyler and Hopkins not expected to be active.
I would be stunned if he played, just because last week actually went decent for him too without him. So I don't know. I don't think he plays. But again, like I said, it doesn't change that much for me just because I'm not playing the receivers. I'm not playing anything the other way. Really, there's nothing here for me outside of James Conner. You can use McCaffrey. He's going to be low owned. Again, I keep bringing up the point Hoop made, though. There's a bunch of running back plays I love. I just don't trust McCaffrey as much right now. Bad team. I don't know. I'm not going to play McCaffrey. I wouldn't be stunned, though, if he was the guy that I regretted not playing. I mean, he's still Christian McCaffrey, but I'm not going to do it. I'll be on James Conner here a little bit, nothing else.
Okay. Hoop, what do we want to do in this game? Anything of goodness, or is this just a fade spot?
About the same as Big T, like James Conner, who's a phenomenal play. We knew going into last week. I mean, this guy's just getting a bunch of touchdowns. Now you add the passing role without Chase Edmonds, just a really good play. Cheap price tag, $7K on FanDuel, $6.3K on DK. Just a really strong play to add to already loaded running back position. And I still stick to it. I think these guys they're going to come in much lower than they should be when you consider what their upside is, what their ownership is going to be. Because we have those 2 cheap running backs. So all these other guys outside of Ingram, outside of Johnson, I think are just phenomenal plays, guys I want to get overweight on. And then the Cardinals D look solid here at home against the XFL quarterback guy.
PJ Walker.
Sure.
Maybe see a little bit of Cam today. I don't know. A couple plays, who knows? Like button. We're up to about 800.
Is Cam seriously eligible to play today?
I think so. Yeah, they
Is he?
brought him in there. I'll go look it up again. He might get a little bit of run though. Let me go.
Does he still suck?
Yeah, he still sucks. He's totally washed. You know what I want to see? Cam Newton to Odell Beckham. That's what I want to see. That would have been wonderful.
Why?
One washed quarterback to one washed wide receiver. That would have been so nice. Yeah, I think they got a slim chance he's active.
Bring him in on the goal line to do what he does and run it in?
Yeah, that's about it.
There's no way they're bringing him in to throw the football.
No, we're not. You can't.
They could really get a specific wide receiver on the Panthers going to change it.
That would be the best if he came in and threw a touchdown to him.
Not just bring everything full circle. Hold
he
him
is going to house one today too. After all this talk we've had, he's definitely housing one.
Oh no! Don't.
I mean, I'm not playing him, but he's definitely going to house one today, so we can laugh about it.
Tommy Tremble, right?
Get the shovel back out. Start digging.
Tommy Tremble.
Have to undig the grave. Undertaker coming through.
Comes up. Robbie. Cut that fucking hair and he might do it. He looks like the
Yeah,
Island.
that's true. I agree. Yeah.
I would play him. In all honesty, if he came out and his head was shaved, I'd play him today for sure.
You know what? I would too.
That hair is
I'm honest
awful.
to God going to say this. It's the hair, man. The guy just
terrible.
You can't look like a disaster and play well. And he doesn't realize
Good
it
point.
yet.
How does he even get the helmet on?
I have no idea.
There's so much hair in there.
There is. You know what it's like? It's like this. This is what Robbie Anderson is until he cuts his hair. This is him trying to put his helmet on every day.
That was a hoop joke there. That was
It was a bad one.
I appreciated it though.
Hey, we still laugh for you.
Yeah,
We didn't leave you hanging.
Yeah, I know you guys didn't really think it was funny.
From a funny person.
I know you guys didn't really think it was funny.
From a funny person, that's about as bad as it gets. You're a funny guy. It doesn't get much worse than that.
It just wasn't a classic Holden joke.
No. You have some good ammo. That was hey, we still laugh though for you.
I'll say this. I actually did that. No one was in here the other day. I was like, oh, here, let me try this on. And it didn't fit. I'm not even kidding. It was very late. Like, can I get it on there? And it didn't fit. Like button. Everybody's saying they like, huh?
We got to listen to Nick. After that, it's time to move on.
All right, we'll move on. Would you just hit the like button? Hit the like button. Could you imagine? No, there's no way Robbie and Myers are in my cord. No, it's not happening. Let's go to the 4:00 games. There's some sexy stuff going on here. Tony,
Arizona's a 4:00 game. We were already in the 4:00.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Let's go to another 4:00 game is what I meant to say. Chargers and Vikings. I feel like Eckler's going to get forgotten today. I believe JSU might have some Mike Williams out there. Keenan Allen's just been getting peppered. They're double teaming Mike Williams. Maybe 1 week they won't. Jared Cook, I feel like every week at least we mention him on this show, but I never play him. Conklin at tight end, Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. Oh my God. This is like, if you got a running back matchup, you want the Chargers. I think there's a lot of goodness in this game. Tony, the problem is I don't have any pieces really, except for maybe a Dalvin Cook lineup, and that's it. So you like this game?
It's a crazy week. There's a lot of really good plays this week. And this is another game where, it's fully stackable. You can play Herbert. You can play a lot of these weapons. I mean, the Chargers are another team just fully stocked. I mean, we love Eckler. We love Keenan. We love Mike Williams. Jared Cook is a filler at tight end. I never really use Cook either, just because if I play Herbert, I just want to play Eckler, Keenan, Mike Williams. So he's like the fourth guy down the list. Can play him though. And then just Minnesota's like the best team ever for run backs. I always because I'm never going to play Kirk Cousins, but I love their weapons. I mean, Cook, Jefferson, Thielen, Conklin are just great run backs. So like the thing I want to see every week is my team, whoever I like, playing Minnesota, because I got natural run backs to whoever it is. Perfect spot. Today, that's the Chargers. You can play Herbert with two weapons, and you can run it back with Justin Jefferson is my optimal, or Dalvin Cook. I mean, it's just a perfect stack. So, yeah, I have a ton of interest in this game. Love everything about it. And, yeah, I would stack the Chargers side over the Minnesota. But, man, I mean, they are really, really good run backs. Even like Thielen, if you just ran back Thielen or something, he's got upside, but I'd rank him Jefferson, Cook, Conklin, Thielen, I guess would be my last. And then the Chargers side, I would rank them Mike Williams, Keenan, Eckler. The only reason I'd put Eckler third is just how good running back is. You're going to have a bunch. You're not going to win or lose it. Well, you could lose it at running back. You're not going to win it at running back, I don't think, because of how many guys are going to do good today. I think it's going to be one of those weeks where like 6 guys get 25 plus or something. So it'll be interesting there, but love this game.
Love it. Hoop, do you love this game?
Yeah, I mean, you got a game 53 total here, and I agree mostly with what Big T said. I mean, it's just a very stackable game. You know the pieces that you can run it back with. I agree with what you said too. Eckler is going to be one of those running backs that gets overlooked, and he's going to get more overlooked than the other guys. We talked about Taylor, Najee Harris. Like, he's going to come in even lower owned than those guys. It's a phenomenal spot here. I love Herbert at quarterback. He's priced a little bit below some of these top guys, specifically Josh Allen. I think they're very similar plays today. So love Herbert. Keenan Allen, like you said, getting back to getting peppered. And it's kind of some positive regression after like a slower start, teams finally adjusted, taking away some of the things that Mike Williams was doing early on. Now you get Keenan Allen getting a ton of targets, 11 and 13. So 24 targets in the last 2 games. I think we see more of that today. I think Keenan Allen's a phenomenal play. Don't even hate Jared Cook at quarterback, Justin Jefferson, Thielen, Delvin Cook, Conklin. There's 7 or 8 guys in this game that are very, very playable for DFS purposes. So great game, tons of different ways to go about it. Ownership should be pretty in check here too. I don't think anyone's going to be mega popular. So love this game.
I just want to give a shout out to Chris Liu. Holden, all we need you to do is throw an 80-mile-an-hour pitches right down the middle to Tony and Hoop. That's it. You know what, Chris? Let me know where you work, and I'm going to show up to your work and tell you how to fucking do your job. Be like, you know what, dude? Maybe it's time for a break. Maybe this is what you need to do at your work, okay? I'm actually in a good mood, so I just want to go off.
Yeah, I don't. That's like that's one of the more dumb comments. Like, what are you supposed to do? Say, hey, Big T, like your picks suck. Why are you still on? Like, I mean, of course you're gonna just. It's like you're hosting a show. You're gonna introduce a question that we can have conversation about.
Yeah, I'm sure you're as great at being a waiter as I am being a host. Wonderful, I love it. And while you're at it,
on a mission today.
Yeah,
I give it to you.
I love this, Holden. I love this for him.
Is this the workbench Holden or the?
This was a 3 workbench session night, and I saw Kevin Nealon last night, which was fun. Kevin Nealon. Who's Kevin Nealon? He was in Happy Gilmore, and I think Tampa.
I found out after we got off that show. I didn't know who the name was.
Oh, but you know now, right?
Wow, I looked it up after the show.
He was the psychologist, I think, in Happy Gilmore. He was the guy, be the ball. Right after Chevy Chase, he was that guy. Hit the like button. Let's get to 600. We don't need 700. But just get us to 6. That'll be great. A lot of comments about this. If you've ever watched me on the betting side, I always drink out of my Minnie Mouse cup. This is a gift from my daughter. It's the most wonderful thing. It's an alpha move, and I bet you couldn't do it if you're at home. You wouldn't come on and dare do that. So here we go. Next game. Let's stay on the 4:00 games. How does that sound, guys? Philly and Denver. Oh, God, Hoop. Philly and Denver, man. And you know what? Tony played, who was it? Boston Scott the other week. I am not kidding when I say this. I really think one of those 2 Philadelphia running backs is going to have a decent day today. I'm not going to play him, but it makes me want to puke in my mouth, but I'm not going to. Any thoughts on this game? Anywhere? Jerry Judy?
I'm not playing anyone in this game. I mean, to me, this game is a full fade. I think it's a nasty type game. I don't think, Hurts, we're seeing the reality with Hurts. He's a, shitty quarterback and needs to be playing from behind to get there fantasy wise. I know some people are looking at the Broncos wide receivers. It's just not for me. I like the under in this game. I just think it's a nasty, grinded out, no good for fantasy type game. I haven't been playing the Eagles pass catchers. Although I will say the one guy I am looking at is Dallas Goedert. So just Goddard for me at a weak tight end position. I think he can get there. Outside of that, I'm off this game.
Tony?
Yeah, I mean, Boston Scott, one of the weirdest stats I've seen is 0 targets in 2 weeks. Is that right? Or 0 catches? That's like what he does, catches dump off. So it's super weird that they haven't thrown anything to these running backs. and they just have basically run the ball for 2-3 straight weeks, just pounding the ground game after Miles Sanders got hurt, which is just weird to me. But yeah, I'm with Hoop. I don't need anything in this game. I mean,
right.
Sure, you could play a few of these guys, but it's almost like an NBA slate where there's a bunch of good plays. It's like, do I really want to play Jerry Jeudy or, I mean, even Dallas Goedert? Like, I want to pair my tight ends this week with some of my quarterbacks and run backs. So I don't think I'll be on there. Noah Fant. I mean, you could play some of these guys. I wouldn't hate it. But again, I'm just going to narrow my player pool, play guys in better spots. Sure, one of these guys could get there, but they're not going to get there for me.
Okay, well, let's just go on to the next game. Before we do that, like button. So Hoop is usually the one that threatens you. These guys are saying I'm a little cranky today. I don't feel cranky. I feel good. I'm all full of Fanta is what is going on here. Let's get to 600 likes. So Hoop will give you his winner, his play of the day. Tony will give you his play of the day. 600 likes. We're only, what is that, 41 away? Are you kidding me? We got about 800 watching. We're 41 away. Hit the damn like button. Say thank you to these guys. You don't have to say thank you to me. Say thank you to these guys, the winners. Next and last, maybe the game du jour. Seattle at Green Bay. Love this. Gonna have some football weather, cold. They had a little bit of snow this morning. This is great stuff. Tony, can you love a game more than I love Seattle and Green Bay? I don't know. You tell me.
This is definitely the game everyone's gravitated towards, where just in the Discord and listen to the chatter, everyone loves this game. I mean, Rodgers, Adams, Russ, DK, Lockett, Aaron Jones. People love this game, this high total. I don't think I like it. Sometimes I just have a feel on a game that I just don't like. With the snow factored in, with the two quarterbacks not really being there the last stretch, I don't know. I think there's a lot of paths where this game doesn't get there, and I think the ownership's going to be – like Devontae. I always play Devontae, so he's the exception. But – I don't think I'm playing him with Rodgers. I'd just play him. Aaron Jones is the sneaky guy today. I don't think anyone's really going to play him at loaded running back, especially with everyone wanting to play Rodgers and Russ in this game. A running back like Aaron Jones is just going to sneak through the cracks because It's just natural. Like, if you play Russ, you're going to play Metcalf or Lockett. You're going to run it back with Devontae. Aaron Jones is going to sneak through the cracks. So I might just play Aaron Jones and leverage this whole passing situation.
Ooh.
Hope the snow plays a factor. It might not. I'm not doing it just because of the snow. I just don't love the snow. And Seattle struggles against the ground game. I don't know. I might leverage this whole spot and just play Aaron Jones.
Just got a question here from Mo Sereno in the premium chat. He goes, where's Hoop score? Go to the playbook. Hoop does the playbook. Also, let me remind you guys, the subscribers out there, we still have the RPS Tournament of Champions. Hoop, can you tell them about the Tournament of Champions real quick? Because every week we're sitting here, we're putting money in there. I think DK is too, and we got to get it filled. They just don't know it.
Yeah, free to enter. If you want to win the prizes, you need to be a member at Runpure Sports. We're throwing in $1,000 every week. First place, $500. Second place, $300. Third place, $200. If you win the contest, DK has kicked in a Wildcat ticket, so a $333 ticket. So if you win first place, you're getting a free $833. There's 20 Millie Maker tickets in there as well. Free to enter, just to win the prizes. You have to be a member at Runpure Sports. It's on the link is on the top of all our content. No reason not to join it for sure. And just free money, literally free money.
All right, so why don't you get into this game now? Because you really think this is going to be the most popular game in the slate?
I'm not saying it's going to be like I didn't mean to interrupt. Hoop. What were you asking, Hoop?
Yeah.
No, neither one of you. It doesn't matter. You both know what you're doing.
It's going to be popular. It's going to be like the popular afternoon game. But again, ownership in NFL isn't like, if you like the game, go with it. I'm not saying it's just, you can't play every freaking game. This is the one game I'm going to be lower on than the field.
Just
What's
real
Title
quick.
talking about? He keeps reminding you in every chat to talk about what you talked about Wednesday.
I don't remember what we talked about.
Must not have been very important, Title.
Get in here, Title, and you can address it.
That's
with
our
Holden
special
yourself.
guest.
Yeah, well, it might,
Oh,
it
the
might,
stack.
might have to be. It might have to be.
I didn't even remember your stack. You want to know what my core is, Title? Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, MVS. That's the first 3 building blocks of my core today. No one's going to be on MVS. Fucking throw his ass out there. Hope he gets it. And let me bring up one thing about Aaron Jones.
You gonna be able to catch it in the snow?
It's not going to be much snow, and snow
He has
is
troubles
fine.
catching it in good weather.
Might help him.
Catch
It
one.
might help him. I might
Catch
like him
one,
now.
and he pays off. A.J. Dillon, for those of you playing Aaron Jones today, double-digit touches, 2 straight games, 168 yards, last 2 games, and the Seahawks get torched by running backs, 150 yards and a touchdown a game. So I don't think A.J. Dillon's out of the mix. I don't have any.
I always like A.J. Dillon, but again, I'm being repetitive.
I'm with you.
There's so many good running backs. I love A.J. Dillon. I wish it was a different week. I'd play A.J. Dillon. Can we really play A.J. Dillon over a guy like DeErnest who's getting all the workload?
No.
It's a pivot, though. Like, it could win you $1 million bucks if you can somehow play him over those 2 and have him outscore him. The thing is, when you play A.J. Dillon, all he needs to do is outscore DeErnest and Ingram. It doesn't matter if he outscores anyone else. If he outscores those 2, you leverage the field.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying here. Okay, Hoop, you want to get into this one for us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be opposite of Big T. I'm buying this, Aaron Rodgers narrative. I mean, he's pretty pissed off, obviously. And,
he needs a haircut too, like
yeah, that's a good point. That his mop is, man, it's disappointing to see from a guy like Aaron Rodgers. He just needs to shave it or something. It looks like shit. But I will say, like, if they got the ball at like the 2-yard line, they're not handing it off to Aaron Jones. Like, Aaron Rodgers is passing the football here. He's going to throw as many touchdowns as he can today. Yes, Devontae Adams is going to be popular. That's fine. I love Devontae Adams. You get a run back on the other side, a big play run back in DK Metcalf on the other side. I mean, that's the guy that, we went into the season, Big T and myself, we talked about it last season, trying to figure out who it is. Is it Metcalf? Is it Lockett? It's just always going to be Metcalf for me. Now he has Russell Wilson back. Love the run back there. I like the MBS call. I mean, yeah, dude dropped so many passes. Maybe the snow weather.
Can I poop on it real quick?
Sure.
Constant 15-mile-an-hour winds and 25 to 30 gusts. You know what?
You just realized it's going to be snowing?
No, snow is fine. I love snow. I want like 10 feet of snow.
It's not like snow's ever without other conditions.
I didn't know we were going to have a 30-mile-an-hour gust. And you know
Look
what?
at those videos. The videos
I'm still
look
putting them
nasty.
out there. I'm still going with them. You're not getting me off that stupid weather.
Also, what is wrong with people? Hoops Trump cup? I have a cup, American flag cup. Like, how is that a Trump cup?
I can't see it. Put it by your face.
Yeah.
Put it by your face.
Yeah, like, how is it? I mean, it's a cup with an
That's
American
it.
flag.
Yeah.
I
Now, if you're fucking, if you're an American,
what is wrong
that's
with
it.
people?
Yeah. We hate America here. That's it. If don't have a flag on this show. You know what?
Jeez,
Come over to Cuba.
People are the funniest. It happens to me all the time. They'll call me a hillbilly because I live in Kentucky, even though I spent my whole life in Colorado.
Oops,
it's my favorite.
Get out of here.
Yeah, losers. All right. Yeah, but I'm honest.
And then he just erased it.
Yeah, so I like this game. Aaron Rodgers. What did you say? It's windy? I got distracted.
Yeah, 15 constant, gust 25 to 30. I don't care.
That's nothing.
Aaron Rodgers coming off the COVID. Come on, this dude's gonna be so jacked up. He's gonna be snorting something to make him feel crazy today. It's gonna be great. It's just gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm on this game for sure. So
yeah,
and like outside of Devontae Adams, I don't think anyone's gonna be super popular.
Yeah, you're right, K. Philippe Berner. Damn communists. And Simon took care of him. He got him out of here. We don't like communists. We don't like them. They're anti-American and anti-DFS, and they wouldn't let you play. You can't play DFS in Russia, by the way. China, I should say. China, you can't. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, let me get back on track here, guys. Deep breaths. It's time for the play of the day. So we're not going to have a special guest stopping by.
I told you mid-show that I was a little concerned about it.
How is that possible? Like, I don't know.
I'll get someone to hop on. We'll have a special guest.
All right. Well, what's Title doing? I want to hear from Title.
Yeah, I kind of want him to be our special guest.
I don't
Title
remember a damn word he said on that podcast.
Come on, Title. We need to know what you were saying on the podcast.
We need title stack that he wants to that Holden should have remembered. That's the
maybe that's how I landed on Rodgers and Adams and MVS.
You just stole it.
I just didn't even remember. It's just like subliminal, and it sat in the back of my brain all week, and now I'm just busting it out. It's wonderful. Just wonderful. Okay, so we got
I'm the special guest.
There he is. Title Town.
There's our boy.
What's
Welcome
up,
to the
Title?
show.
No, I am not the special guest.
You are.
Whenever it's always special. Whenever we get to
You
spend
are the
time with
special
Title,
guest.
it's always
Title
special.
Town.
I'm the 7 string, 8 string, but hey, I'm here. Holden, I don't know what edibles you're taking or something, but your memory is losing day to day.
Look at this. You and me with our hat. I get to tuck
God,
my
that
ears
looks so
in.
bad on you, Holden.
You look like a 4-year-old.
I don't wear hats.
Literally is your
I don't
head.
wear hats. I don't wear hats.
Wait,
Title, what did you
know
say
they have-
Wednesday, Title? You know,
They
I
have buttons. They have buttons back there that you can like make it tighter. By the way,
Yeah,
I like
what did
that
you say
size.
on the
Keep that-
podcast?
keep that
Listen to the
size.
spread pod, by the way. NFL
Yes.
spread pod. It drops every Thursday.
yes, no. I think the Packers game's gonna go a little under on. There you go, Holden. Well, no. Anyway,
Oh, God.
Now
If
put
you
the
were
hat
not a
on
hat
top.
guy,
Put the
are
helmet. Put the hat on with the helmet on top of the hat. Then we're good.
yeah, no. So what I was saying, Holden, since you forgot, not AJ Dillon. Give me the Russ, Lockett, DK, Adams stack. I'm full stacking that.
Oh.
I think people are coming off with the weather.
Russ?
Simon, get him back off
Yeah,
here.
that's it. You're bad. Russ? What the fuck are you going
With
Russ
both
for?
of those guys?
2% Russ. DK and Lockett have never been
Oh.
so cheap. Still a 49.5 total.
DK.
The
Yes.
I mean, they're both as cheap as they've ever been with the injuries. They're priced like
That's a
Geno
good-
Smith is there. We
That's a
haven't
good
seen
stack.
Seattle.
I like
Yes.
that. I like that call.
Double it. I mean,
Yeah.
if Lockett and Metcalf get there, Russ is actually going to explode. They're 2%. You can run back with the chalkier Devontae, the late night hammer. There's enough value on this slate. Give me the Russ, the DK. And people are going to go Rodgers. If they're going to stack this game, they're going to go the Rodgers side. I'm going to go more Russ, but I have both sides. But not AJ Dillon. Give me that game stack.
I like that. That's a great.
Appreciate it,
great
Hoop.
set. How do you forget about that one too, Holden? That's like a
Honestly, dude, and I always say this, I don't work messed up, but when I do that spread pod with those dudes, with Rubio and Title, I am just blitzed. Completely. I'm on minimum 2 edibles.
The funny thing is, I made a comment about you on that. I said his eyes are just shot on that thing.
Yeah,
I was talking
Wednesday-
to Title, I think.
Yeah,
telling
I
him.
hang out with
I told
Title.
him.
Yeah, I see Title, and then I need it because Rubio just frustrates me so much. It really is fascinating listening to horrible takes. Takes that bad, and I just have to smile about it after a while, you know? Hey, you want to give us an SO play of the day there, Title? You got a little SO action?
Give me
Let me see.
DK Metcalf, a part of that stack.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always DK over Lockett for me. I'm going to have both, though. But yeah, no one's playing DK Metcalf, so that's the SO play of the day.
Will you also ask for 13 more likes so we can get to 600 before we're
Oh,
done?
come on. I know you guys didn't get the guess. I don't even know who was going to be, but you didn't get the guess you guys wanted. But 13 likes isn't hard. Hit
I
the-
wanted
Holden-
Titles, who I wanted.
Holden, I do got to say, you did a good job today, too. You were very good today, so congrats
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Hey.
Who are you to tell me that I did a good job, Title?
Holden's
Get
got
outta
a
here.
lot of spunk going today.
There were
Title. You gotta
people-
watch
Oh, there was a
out.
lot of
There
spunk.
were
Yeah, this
people in
there
the
was.
chat. They're asking for title over Holden. So I mean,
Look at the SO play of the day graphic. I don't think I've
Man.
ever seen that one.
Simon did a good job.
I still don't see it, but that's
yeah, I think
okay.
you did a good job today too, Holden. You did a real good job.
Again,
Who are you, Hoop? Who are you to tell
Yeah,
him that?
I know, right?
Who are you,
I mean,
Hoop?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, the
Hoop's
guy
part of
comes. The guy
management
comes
team.
in. The guy
That's all
comes in. Our special guest stiffed us. We got title coming in to fill the void, and he compliments you on your work, and you're going at him.
You know, don't try and get back at me for my earlier comments to you that I got angry. Okay, you know, let it go. Title can handle himself. You don't have to. You don't have to bully me with Title. Everything's
All right,
gonna be
I'm
fine.
back in my place. I'm back
Second
in
of
my
all,
place.
what is up? What is up with our guest blowing us off? You cannot blow the show off. I don't understand it. Something has
Tough
to be going
scene.
on. Like
Tough
it has
scene.
to be a religious exemption or hives. those are like the only two reasons you can get out of coming on this show right now. So
thank God we have title.
A little bit. Thank God we got title. Thank God. So your SO play of the day is Tyler Lockett.
You already forgot. Yep.
And it's Russ. It's Russ, and I like Russ.
You're over 2.
Remember already.
DK Metcalf.
That's what I mean.
Ding, ding, ding.
Your memory, not even day by day. I guess it's minute by minute now that it goes. Wow.
Yeah. It's
write it down.
Yeah.
DK,
one of these days,
down.
I'm just gonna be going like a week, just cleanse, and my brain will come back. Hoop, the rich parents. Hoop, where's Title's wig? Because I have never seen you with that wig and Title on at the same time. Do you have it around?
Don't get him bringing the wig back.
Oh, are you kidding me? Title's here.
I would. Okay, so there's a couple issues with the wig. First off, the wig only comes out around Halloween time.
Hopefully, it's back in the box.
It's back in the box. Okay. It is. It's 100. You're 100% right. It is back in the. It is back in the Halloween box, unfortunately. And I would go down and get it, but the next problem is if you listen to the shows early this week, I have an issue in my basement with the carpet. Did you hear that story, Holden?
No.
Oh, just real quick. Yeah. So ordered new carpet. All right. The guys come to lay I've told this, it's been on, I've talked about this numerous times. I mean, it could be boring to some, others might think it's entertaining. Ordered new carpet, new padding throughout the house. They come, they start in the basement. All right. They start laying the new carpet. They start laying the new carpet over the old padding. Right. So who the hell would order new carpet and not get new padding? Right. So we had it all ordered. The guy decided, you know what? I'm sticking with the old padding, starts laying the new carpet over the old padding. The wife catches them and like, hey, you know, we ordered new padding. The guy, strong accent, communication barrier, I guess you could say. Well, can't lay new padding with this carpet. So just proceeds to lay all this new carpet over the old padding. Big issue. Had to go into the store, lay down the lawn Friday. Basically, the basement's completely tore up. Can't get in. Long story short, I can't get into the wig box. All right, so we're not getting the wig today.
Chunk of our lives we're never getting back. Do you want to give us?
Yeah,
a
I'm
play?
sorry about that. Yeah,
you want to give us a play? Hoop?
yeah, I know. But people, yes, you shouldn't have asked. People were following the carpet story last week on the
Holden
NBA
always
show.
hates your stories. He loves Hoop, but he hates his stories.
Yeah, he really does. He really does.
Every time he gives,
especially today.
reaction.
I mean, especially today. I knew that story as soon as I started saying that story. I was like, "This thing's drawing dead." Like, it's not on a fucking mission today. Like, he's gonna push this thing aside like so quickly, and I could tell there's zero interaction as the story was going.
I consider myself one of the most observant. Like, I hear everything you guys say, and I felt myself drifted off during the story. I didn't hear the second half of it.
People were entertained by it throughout the week because this whole thing. I'm like, now you're getting more details of the story. Unfortunately, this whole thing
down with it.
The whole thing transpired as the NBA show was going live, I believe on Thursday, I want to say. So like the wife and I confronted the carpet guy at like 4:45 Eastern as the NBA show was starting. So I'm back and forth between the show, battling this guy who, by the way, the guy that laid the carpet was absolutely jacked. And I thought I was going to get my ass kicked like in my own house. I mean, imagine something more embarrassing, getting your ass kicked in your own house. I thought it was going down a bad path. But all this happened as the NBA show was starting. All right,
it was a good story on Thursday, Hoop. I was locked in then. Yeah, I've already heard it. So
yeah. So it's not as good.
Did you tell that on the Cash show?
No, it was on the NBA show. It was a good story Thursday. Sunday, apparently, it doesn't have the same glamour.
No. Do you have a play?
Oh yeah, that's what you were looking for. Yeah, the play of the day.
Carpet guy play of the day.
Yeah, the carpet muncher play of the day. That's a good one for you.
I like that.
The play.
I'm sure you do. Yeah, if you were talking about carpet munching, Holden would have been all in.
That would have been a great story.
That's why he didn't. That's why he didn't appreciate the story. He heard carpet and he thought I was going down one.
This guy came over, starts munching carpet at my house. My wife gets upset. Now that's how you start a story, Hoop.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got here, buddy?
AJ Brown. I don't think ownership will be crazy. Think you look at this Titans offense. They're gonna be struggling to find guys to be productive today. So give me AJ Brown, Rich Parents, Carpet Munch, or whatever you want to call it. Play of the day.
Carpet Munch play of the day. Carpet Munch play of the day. Tony, workbench play of the day. What is it?
Yeah, it's a lot of options today. A lot of good plays. Some plays I might like more than this guy, but this guy's definitely the workbench play. Terry McLaurin going against Tampa. I've been waiting for a big receiver to go against this defense. This is the week. He's going to get about a 35 piece today.
What do you guys give out? 6 players in your core, right?
We leave 3 open spots, so I don't know how many.
I'm going to give you. Here you go. You're going to get Holden's. What did the guy say he wants? The Blue Balls Dinosaur Convention play of the day. By the way, Dinosaur Conventions, man, $400. Boom. Just like that. I got home. I was out $400.
Sounds awesome.
Oh, yeah. It was just, it was the worst.
Are you going to tell us a story so
I mean, there was no story. These robotic dinosaurs, they bring these baby fake robotic dinosaurs out here. I'm like, this is awful.
Yeah, actually, I can relate because I've been to those in the past, and it's the biggest like sham there is. Well, I mean, if you have like super young kids, maybe they might be into that. But like the worst part is they bring the fake baby like remote control dinosaurs around. Yeah,
I have a young kid. He's 3. He's almost 4, and then he gets it. I told him a million times they weren't real, and he starts crying when he learns that they're not real. And I'm like, you broke my son's heart, you bastards.
Yeah,
so
those things are.
Yeah, don't go to the dinosaur convention. So I got A-Rod, Adams, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I'll throw a little Taylor CMC.
That was fast. That was so fast. Like I can't even comprehend that.
I don't want you tailing me. I don't want you yelling at me when this thing ends up with.
I gotta play this lineup. Come on, I'm gonna get the notepad out.
A-Rod, Taylor, CMC. Adams, Valdez-Scantling, Donovan Peoples-Jones. You can figure out the rest. That's what I'm going with. It's my first core I'm ever giving out, and probably the last one. And I'm looking at title over there going, what a shitty lineup. That's just awful.
Run it back. At least run it back. I mean, you got the stack.
Hold on. Let me talk. I actually wanted to talk about this because I left the spot open, by the way. Why do we, if everybody's running it back now, can't we get different by not running it back? Can't we get it back by not running it back once in a while?
No, don't do it. Still underutilized. The easiest path for the least things to go right to shit.
You don't stack in a tournament. Like, I can't talk to you. Unless you're literally, the only exception is literally like when hoops in these small fields. If you're in a remotely big field and you're not running it back, you're just, I
doing it wrong.
Don't respect your team.
Okay, fine. I don't give a shit. It'll end up getting me 90 points and, we'll come back next week and you can shame me again.
I will.
It's too bad we're leaving on a down note, though.
Like, how would you? I just can't even comprehend not running it back if you're running Rodgers with 2 receivers. Like, I literally can't comprehend it.
But if there's other receivers or other positions that are going to score as much as DK Metcalf, why can we not go there?
If you pick every home run in a baseball slate, you'll win. But we like to correlate.
Yeah,
you're expecting if MVS gets there, Adams gets there, and Rodgers gets there. They're not going to get there if Seattle scores 0.
How do you know?
Rodgers
just comes out and he just shoves it down their fucking faces. Wilson can't handle the 30-mile-an-hour wind. They're handing it off to Alex Collins, and then they're down by 30. They're just like, forget about it. Russell, come on out. We're going to amputate your foot. So many.
I like Hoops carpet story more than your core.
Yeah, this is a Make-A-Wish that you're doing.
Make-A-Wish Foundation core of the day. Okay, there you go. Nobody asked me for it. I gave it out. That's it.
No one's going to ask again now.
What? Do you want the ending to the carpet story to save Holden? Sorry.
Anything to get him to stop talking about this core.
No, I just don't want title on here anymore. He brought the showdown. That's what happened. He came on. I was on a roll. Then he starts doing this stuff, and now it's just
you brought me midnight to 6 saying no stacking. So I don't know if I'll even be back either.
Rodgers, Devontae, MVS, and no run back.
Correct.
Like, oh, God.
Well, I mean, you could throw a tight end in there if you want to.
That's limp.
Or a full.
That's like 3:30 p.m. material. Like,
you know what? That happens too.
That Pecker is back in the pants for sure.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
it's
that.
an innie. I mean, you never want an innie.
Did you just say your Pecker is back in your pants?
That Pecker is back in the pants, yeah.
I mean,
You've been hanging out with your grandpa. Like, who uses the word pecker anymore?
Oh, I like
the
hanging
word
out with my
pecker.
Oh,
It's
just
still
so
a
you
funny
guys
word.
know,
Yeah, strong word.
when you sign up for RPS for Runpure Sports, you don't get any of my cores. Like people that know what they're doing give their cores. So RPS Heater 25% off their first payment of the monthly installment. I'm good for a sleeper or two. This is what I'm throwing out there, though. You got it. And maybe we should get this sponsored by Roman. After every time I put out my core and you guys go limp, you could take one of those and
Get it back up.
get it back
You were
up.
doing so good with your like just random throwouts too. You can't come in with just a terrible core.
I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm gonna come in with terrible core, and I'm not afraid to see what happens. Okay. All right. Good. Thank you very much.
Simon, get us out of here so he can stop talking.